Matti, what in the name of God is this abomination? Hello, everyone.
Well, this abomination is my first touch to the genre of point-and-click adventures.
Your first what? Come again?
First touch to the genre.
Touch! That's the word you chose to say at that point. Touch. Did you touch this game in inappropriate places? Do you have to show a doll to the game? Where did the bad man touch you game? This is a terrible joke and not a good way to start this. But I am in an awful mood.
Because you have lesser tolerance towards technical difficulties.
No, it's because all the technical difficulties that we have faced over the last few weeks have been compounded onto one another to the point that I am simply intolerant. I have developed an intolerance, like a lactose intolerance, towards your bullpucky, my good man. Because it's always you. So I am in a bit of a bad mood already. And from the looks of it, this will not be fun in the traditional sense already. Because what are we playing? Or rather, what are we commentating about tonight?
Well, this game is called Stupid Invaders. It's, as I mentioned, point-and-click adventure from the year 2000. And it's based on this animated series named Space Goofs. Are you familiar with it?
No, not at all, but I might be familiar with the other show that this is tangentially related to.
Yeah, this is from the creator of Oggy and the Cockroaches. I saw it like few episodes when I was the Oggy and the Cockroaches at the early, before going to school. It showed on the early mornings, and I mean, it's one of those hey, Ren and Stimpy is popular with its vulgar humor, let's try the same.
It's not even that, honestly. It's more of a misguided interpretation of the Tom and Jerry formula, in which the bullies are the good guys and they get away with all the awful things they do. Which doesn't really work in this sort of comedic setting. So for those who don't remember, Oggy and the Cockroaches was about this cat named Oggy, whose life is a living hell because of a few terrible, annoying, awful bugs, cockroaches, the titular ones that is, that live in his house, steal his food, and generally cause mayhem, and they get away with it. They are the initiators of the conflict 90% of the time, and most of the time they don't really get punished for it, which, for a cartoon of this ilk, it really misses the mark spectacularly. It's also not very funny, on top of that, and because of that, and the style is, well, if this game that we are about to play has anything in common aesthetically with Oggy and the Cockroaches, then I guess you will see for yourself.
Yeah, to be noted, I checked few episodes of Space Goofs just to check what it was before this game, and it's
bad.
The game is more how we say, adult in its humor compared to the show.
Uh-huh. So, was the game made after the show? Vice versa? Yeah. Or is it like Blazing Dragons, in which they were made at the same time?
No, it was made after the first season of the show. Season 1 came in 1997, 1998, and this game was made in 2000, and then 5 years later after that they made a second season, which I haven't watched because it's not...
Because who cares? I suppose
Yeah.
would be the correct answer. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a French cartoon, right? Both Augie
Yes.
and this thing are French cartoons. My relationship with French animation has had its highs, lows, and the lowest because the television output, most of the times, in my personal experience at least, I've seen something terrible. When I think of France and TV animation, the first show that comes to mind is Totally Spies. And the adaptation of an Italian comic titled Martin Mystère. Both are terrible. But on the other hand, I also think about the spectacular output of Wakfu and Dofus. And then, amidst all of that, amidst those very extreme examples, there is Augie and the Cockroaches. It is so perfectly below average in a very unimpressive way. And I expect that kind of experience from this video series that we are about to undergo, because much like our Skyrim series, due to a very complex set of circumstances, we're going to be forced to sit on our couches or chairs or whatever it is we sit on these days, react to pre-recorded footage. And on that note, I have no earthly idea what I am about to watch. I have not even seen the video as of yet. Matti knows because he played the game and he recorded the footage. I don't. So this is going to be an interesting experience for yours truly.
I had a bit of a trouble recording the first part, so the footage is sampled from a couple of pieces, so there may be few inconsistencies in some places, but I have got some wandering, but most of the time it should be rather coherent.
You should have left the wandering because it would give us the opportunity to wonder ourselves with topics of discussion.
Yeah, I have kept the wandering the future episodes.
Okay, well,
Part.
I guess we'll see what we are about to see. That flawless segue, might I add. But before that, you have the box of the game, I understand.
Yes, and the instruction booklet as well.
Oh boy, that takes me back. How big is the box, by the way? Is it one of those unnecessarily huge boxes that don't really need to be that large?
Wait, I have a ruler here. It's well, these numbers are rather weak. But
This is great content for the internet, let me tell you all about it. Oh boy. Okay, we've got one man down.
So, 18 centimeters times about 23 centimeters.
Yes, it's that kind of box. I have a box like that for Escape from Monkey Island and Grim Fandango. Those kinds of unnecessarily large boxes for what they contain.
Yeah.
That really takes me back.
Yeah, but they needed to be different from those console games where real boxes are big and they have big experiences.
Real boxes need to occupy a lot of spaces that you are quickly running out of. You have better send me a scanned version of that, or better yet, photograph it. Please, send me a photograph of that.
Okay, first I noticed that in the front there's the Best PC Adventure Game at E3 by IGN.com.
Already, that is a tainted recommendation. Anything with IGN name and stamp on it, ooh, that is a red flag, my friend.
5 goofy aliens, 1 earthbound tiny spaceship, and a whole heap of trouble. Guide Ethno and his alien pals spot gorgeous stereo and candy through hilarious scenarios and escape the clutches and scalpels of Dr. Sakarin and Bullock in this impressive, adult-oriented graphic adventure. You can save their alien butts! Spectacular animations! Cinematics offer an interactive animated cartoon experience. Immersive gameplay! More than 500 scenes within the 3D environments. Hilarious dialogues! Over 40 characters, each with their own personality and crazy comical voices. Emotive music! More than 200 different pieces of music. Comprises 4 CD-ROMs. Text and dialogues warning. Not for all ears. Just 2.
Words cannot properly convey what I'm feeling right about now. It sure sounds like a game that came out at the tail end of the 90s. Oh, the fact that I have never heard about a game like this before you mentioning it already has me worried. But anyway, I guess this is it for the preamble. All we have to do is jump right into this, prepare ourselves for this journey, which feels increasingly more like a Dante-esque descent into the Inferno.
Yeah, by the way, mine also showing up pretty much all the deaths. Game over situations that can happen.
Wait, this is one of those adventure games in which you can die?
Yeah, wasn't Sierra famous from those?
Sierra was famous, I'd say infamous, more likely. I thought we had purged the memory of old school Sierra games by the year 2000, but apparently we did not.
I haven't played any Sierra game.
Are the deaths actually permanent? As in, do you have to have saved the game prior to that? Or...
Yeah, you have to save constantly.
Oh my gosh, this is a Sierra game in spirit. Oh no! No!
Well, I guess it's not a video game if you don't have a fail state.
Okay, I guess that does it for the preamble, which went on far longer than I would have liked it. But I guess this was necessary to properly mentally prepare both of you and us as we venture forth. I'm going to hate this, aren't I?
Probably, yeah.
So, once again, this is me, Madhog thy Master, and this guy over here is my pain in the neck, Matimali, aka hedonistic actor, who really wanted to do this series.
The world has to know that this game exists.
Fair enough, honestly, fair enough. So, with that all said, welcome to the invasion. Ubisoft produced the game. That's our second red flag for tonight.
I like most of their catalog.
You are misguided. Look at that beautiful JPEG of a night sky. I was going to say stupid invaders, eh?
Yep. It's purposefully to be a parody of the name Space Invaders.
Oh, you don't say! I would have never guessed it. I'm assuming some silly music is playing right now. I cannot hear it.
It's actually somewhat dramatic. And when I was watching the show, I was surprised to hear that many of the music things are directly in this game.
Way to go, Candy.
Oh boy.
So what do we do now? Steal a bicycle?
Can you read the text?
Yes, it's a good thing you left the subtitles on.
It's not serious.
Right, so they crash land on Earth, they see a house which happens to be uninhabited,
Yep.
and now we cut to Mad Max.
No, it's just the desert.
Yes, I can see
That's
that.
really
Oh,
dramatic.
Area 52. Get it? Because Area 51 would be the
Bum,
expected.
bum.
Oh my god.
Bum bum bum. That's the kind of music that is currently playing. I remember pretty much all the music things in this game.
Oh, this is a terrible rendition of a classic Monty Python's gag, let me tell you. Who needs to hear the game soundtrack when we have the expert, the master of
Bum bum
a cappella
bum
over
bum
here?
bum 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 dang 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 dang.
Can you stop? I
Yeah.
think I might have gotten the idea.
Yeah.
So, they say this was Area 52, but why did we cut into Discount Spectre meeting? Oh my gosh, what is wrong with this? What is this character design?
He had. Yeah, it's kind of strange. And that professor indeed has a German accent.
I can see that because the subtitles left the implication of a German accent. Does this man have 6 fingers? I'm sorry? Is this an alien too?
What?
Please tell me it's an alien. That cannot be a human being.
From
Oh, no,
I
no.
am a professional.
Please don't look at me ever again. Please don't let me see his face. Don't.
Voiced by Billy West.
This character design. Oh, this character design. Oh, yes, this is definitely Yogi and the Cockroaches. I did not say this before, but I have forgotten how bad.
Yeah.
Why is
But
the Monty Python's foot your cursor? Why? Please tell me you're going to step on the bugs. Like that. Please.
Yeah, just moving it at the. I just recorded some music for this.
This is some of the worst character design I've ever seen, okay? Oh my god! No! It's as if...
But amazingly, it looks better than in that cartoon.
It's as if somebody who has never drawn cartoons in their lives decided they wanted to make their own cartoon, and what came out of that idea was an abrasive parody of cartoon designs? These are just so unsettling, disquieting, unbelievably ugly, and not in a charming, amateurish way, in a purposeful, hateful, disgusting, I hate cartoons sort of way. This is the kind of energy that this sort of character design exudes. I hate cartoons, and now you're going to hate them too. I don't think I care about this game. I don't know if I am conveying the idea correctly.
But oh no, humans!
Why do you say that?
Okay, so this guy shows up, he knew where they were living, and he froze the others, and the only one who's not frozen... The aliens look more human than the humans, might I add.
Yeah, this basically has this kind of an ugly character design.
I mean...
I guess by purpose.
This is Augie and the Cockroaches all over again, except the bully is the antagonist, so at least they've gotten that part of the dynamic correct. But yes, this is the protagonist, huh? Look at him, scratching his non-existent crotch.
Yeah, not the whole game. It changes between the all 5 aliens.
Okay, do you ever have a session in which you have... Oh!
I'm showing the first game over situation.
Are you going to
If you
show
open the
me...
door.
Okay, are you going to show me all the hilarious deaths? If this
Yeah.
were to be a proper Sierra game, and I will say everything and anything against Sierra games any time of the week, but something that they always did that tickled my fancy bone, my funny bone, I should say, is that they accompany every permanent death with a hilarious question mark flavor text. I see this game doesn't even bother with that.
Wow!
Yeah, it just trusted that the absurdity of
G.I. This is the level. This is the level of the
Yep.
humor.
Yeah, there is a much of this.
Soft something kiss. So, yes, this is what passes for adult humor back in the day.
This may come in handy.
Juvenile humor. Nothing more adult than that.
Smells like sun-kissed dewdrop
Toilet
on
humor is to
strawberry
comedy, but
candy.
jump scares are to horror.
Candy sweet
Toilet
gold
humor
brown.
can be done right, believe it or not. This is not one of those times, clearly. So, you do have an inventory, right?
Yes, I'm about to show it.
Do you ever have sessions in which you have to swap items with your fellow aliens and solve puzzles in a collaboratory fashion?
No, this is not that creative.
So you really thought the world needed to learn about this game?
I guess I was considering reviewing it, but if we go through this in this whole analyzing it throughout, then it's not that necessary anymore, I suppose.
Yes. Well, thanks for making me part of this experience, Matti. Truly, I feel blessed to have such friends. What is the deal with this puzzle? I know what he's trying to do, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, that the first toilet paper was too weak, but now this gorgeous heavy-duty steel ass wipe was much stronger material.
Ah ha 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 ha. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Oh, I hope he dies. And in a video game specifically.
So let me tell about our character here, Bud Buddyovich.
What's his...
Worm.
I'm sorry, can you repeat his name?
Bud Buddyovich.
Can you do the spelling of his first name?
B-U-D.
Oh, B-U-D. I thought you said butt. B-U-T-T. Which would have been on the nose even for this game.
Okay, let's first see how he talking with the Santa Claus who is stuck in the chimney.
Yes, that is totally Santa Claus.
Sounds like there's some kind of monkey
Is it
died
really Santa Claus? Actually?
He said,
Sounds like
he said that he's Santa Claus.
I know he said it, but I don't trust it. Or him. Or they, I don't know. I'm not actually listening to the game audio, because it makes it easier for me to record commentary.
I'll get some peanuts.
So, I guess when I'm going to edit this whole thing together, it's going to be a new experience for me.
Yes.
I'm sure it's going to be even more abrasive than it already is, because even though I cannot hear
little children.
the audio, I can hear the images even if they are silent. I know this kind of humor. I know this kind of animation and cartoon. I know this kind of game. I've seen it. I played it far too many times. I know what to expect. I know the bar is incredibly low. This is very much gross out humor of the worst
90s.
possible wine that was popular in the 90s, and it kept on existing
Yeah.
in the 2000s, perhaps reaching a zenith in that decade.
From the
And-
decade that brought us Booger Man.
From the decade, the 2000s, that brought us the Nutsuck
Thank you, little boy,
and
for
Drone
saving
together.
me and ruining Christmas for everyone else.
And it's Slime Claus?
Oh, a can of
Yeah,
soup
because
there?
he used
Man,
that
this stuff
toilet
is
drain
sick.
to drain the chimney. So
So,
it turned.
what kind
So yeah, Santa is dead.
Cool. This is so edgy, you guys. Totally edgy humor. Totally
So what were you about
aged,
to ask?
aged like milk. I don't know what I was about to ask because I saw Santa Claus turned into slime. So apparently that was the real Santa and we killed him and now there is a vampire.
It seems so.
So are we just going to shuffle our way into multiple scenes and scenarios very loosely connected with each other in a way that's not narratively or comedically coherent in any way whatsoever? Is this game just going to throw random pop cultural references at us and we're going to just see the edgier, mean-spirited version of a joke that has already been made 1.5 million times?
Well, not so much pop culture references, but it's certainly tasteless and not always plot relevant.
So, why did we poison the vampire?
So we could get the key that he was holding.
And it's melted.
Yeah.
Sure. By the way, great melting effect. You know, Reboot looks better than this. I must say. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I always thought that despite the ugly character design, the graphics have aged with relative dignity. At least.
The character design, I could almost enjoy the backgrounds, since they appear to be savvily pre-rendered. But the character design, it's just so unredeemably conspicuous. Which is a very diplomatic way of saying, I don't like it. It's bad, and you should feel bad. I don't remember Augie and the Cockroaches looking this bad.
Hmm.
Do you know the difference?
Is there ever a point in which the game opens up a little bit and we have a proper world to explore? Or is it just going to be a series of linear rooms?
Well, we are about to open soon, when we figure out how we stop him from dying. Or getting captured.
Do we want him to not die? I'm sorry, what exactly are the stakes here? What exactly is the personality of this protagonist other than ugly alien that's probably stupid? A stupid invader?
Well,
Do they have any other
I have-
personality trait other than being stupid invaders?
yeah, I have the instruction booklet here where all the characters are described.
If you have to use the game's manual to describe what the characters' personalities are like, then you have failed
Well,
as a storyteller.
Yeah, they will be expanded later, but yeah, this game does a rather poor job at establishing its characters. And
It does a great job in establishing all the little things I hate about it, though.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
but
Hello, Commissioner. No, wait, wrong game.
Ah, you must be calling for candy.
Buddyovitz, a worm, a living wreck with the IQ of a quarter jellyfish's brain. Yep, that's Bud. He passes the time of day rotting in front of the TV like a couch potato that's way past its sell-by date. He thinks in slow motion, speaks in words of one syllable, and lives exclusively on a diet of junk food. But adapts pretty well to life on Earth, provided he doesn't miss out to any episodes of Inspector Smith at 7:30 p.m.
Inspector Smith.
Smith.
Ins-
SCHMIDT.
Inspector Smith.
Yeah, something like that.
Inspector Smith. Is that supposed to be a Doctor Who or a generic police drama parody?
I have no idea.
Right. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh,
And-
my inflatable boat.
What
Then I guess
exactly are we trying to accomplish right about now? Because I don't see much in terms of a direction.
Yeah, we're trying to free our fellow aliens from the ice cube. We are looking currently through all the rooms and correct any stuff that we can get our holds on.
Uh-huh. As adventure games are wont to do.
Yeah.
This is a
You just-
surprisingly spacious garage, I must say.
Yeah.
All right. I found my magazine cover.
You might wanna censor that.
Thanks, Matty. Thanks for warning me in advance. Now I cannot unsee that.
If you what's clear in the wall, there was the
I-
Oggy cameo.
I've seen that raunchy poster as well. You know,
There's
what is up with the size of these rooms? This kitchen is immense. It is proportionally immense compared to the size of the kitchenware. Also, how big is this bug? Is he a small person? Is he a big person? Why is the fridge smaller than him?
yeah, but it's rather tall compared to the.
He
It's
seemed
one of the
small
taller
compared to
ones.
the human. What exactly is the size ratio of the aliens compared to human appliances? Why am I focusing on this so much? Because I'm already running out of things to talk about. I am very much in the process of becoming bored with this.
Well, I could tell you about the bounty hunter who is after us, Bolok. Bolok.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm?
What is actually, I might as well ask you, what is the setting of this game? Where are we in the world?
Somewhere in USA.
Okay.
Okay, here's the first location in our adventure, the house to rent. The extraterrestrials take refuge here while they're waiting for their flying saucer to be fixed. Indoors, it's rather on the snug side. Candice work wonders with the decor. Thanks to him, the house has been turned into a really cozy little nest. The rug in the toilet,
cozy.
the rug in the toilet, the pretty curtains on the staircase, the wallpaper in his room. Candice touch everywhere you look.
Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I was about to ask, where does the smoke come from? Is it just there? But no, apparently they have a stove in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Oh, look, it's a funny portrait of Elvis. That sure is funny.
According to Madhog, they are in the suburbs of a town that no one's ever heard of.
Cool. My favorite suburbs. I don't know why, but I'm getting Phantasmagoria flashbacks from this particular furniture arrangement. I don't know why. This is very different from Phantasmagoria stylistically,
And
but mostly
so
because I'm dreading the potential waste of my life dealing with this. So that's what it has in common with
and
Phantasmagoria.
what even more is insulting, this particular room has no point in this game. It doesn't have any It doesn't have any relevant items that could help in any puzzle.
Clearly, they wanted you to look at these funny books names. That was worth constructing an entire 3D room in this 3D game. That was definitely worth the effort. It is so nice to behold. Look at that beautiful Comic Sans font.
Yeah,
that
I guess
they
at that point I
used.
was trying to read the text on those books and got stuck in that.
American Macho, the rules of malaxation. I don't know what that was. I guess I will look at it once I edit it. I'm sure it's hilarious like the rest of this game so far.
Okay, so
Is this a legitimately bad game, Matti? Are the puzzles in any way clever or compelling, at the very least?
I guess kind. I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's not that well designed. Sometimes they are rather easy, and sometimes they are with the surprise deaths that can happen at any point.
Oh, you mean like now?
That actually didn't lead to death.
Why do you have a bear with a hammer in your closet?
I don't know. That's one of this
so,
game's random running jokes.
Okay, so non sequitur gags. Those are tricky to pull off. Usually, in any context, even the wackiest and zaniest of cartoons, there are setups and payoffs for gags and jokes. And a random bear living in a closet with a hammer.
I love playing with my organ.
Usually would be funny. It wasn't really funny here. And it's not even because, as you said, it is random. It's because I believe the timing is off in most of these gigs. Ever slightly so off. And it's probably because of the limitations of the budget and the technology at hand. It's very hard to pull off slapstick competently in 3D if the 3D is sloppy.
Yeah, and I guess the missing sound also kind of affects to the.
I doubt I would have laughed at this either way.
Yeah. So let me tell you about the bounty hunter, Bollock. Bollock likes to be called the professional. He's a dangerous bounty hunter who's nevertheless a stickler for principles.
Wait, hold on. Why are we hearing about this? He's dead. Who cares?
Are you sure?
I mean, unless there is something really funny about this description.
He never lets slip a contract and only has 2 words on his lips. My dog. In this character, we can observe certain not insignificant distinguishing features. He loads kids, loves monkeys.
The distinguished feature, you say? Let me
He loads
scratch my chin. What is this Invaders Zim ripoff? This is just Invaders Zim, but bad, isn't it? Before
loads
even
kids-
Invader Zim, it was Invader Zim is from 2001, so this preceded it, I suppose.
He loads kids, loves monkeys, and was found in a trash can when he was 12 years old. And that was all of it.
Yes, but is he coming back?
Yes, he's coming back.
I thought he was dead. Didn't he just melt?
No, that was Santa Claus. And the melting was not some random zombie. If you did see it, he got stuck in a mousetrap.
Oh.
That-
I'm sorry, I must have went cross-eyed during that scene. Actually, I think I am cross-eyed as we speak. I need to see a doctor. I'm looking at this character design for far too long.
This is exactly what I need.
Actually, who made the game again?
Oh, do you want the specific names or just the company name?
Just the studio who developed. What is that supposed to be?
That's sometimes these are in human disguises, and that is one human disguise used by one of the aliens, Candy, who's the green one.
I sure love those very lazy drawings of a character model with a blank background.
Yeah. Candy's deal is that he often in the series disguised as a woman, and I guess he kind of got into it sort of because he wants to do once they return home, he wants to do a sex change operation.
Let me guess, it is a long-winding series of very awful transphobic jokes with this one character.
Actually, I'm not. It's a gray area. I'm not
It's
100% sure what.
I don't trust a show or indeed a game with this juvenile sense of humor
Never know. This might
to
come in
handle anything even remotely deserving of tact.
I mean, I guess they kind of sometimes made fun of his femininity or something. But
Oh boy. It is a game from 2000, and the show is from 97, I believe, as you said.
yeah.
I sure like all this wandering around aimlessly. This...
we're about to-
Did they... Okay, this room reminds me a bit of the Mystery Vortex from Sam
See,
and Max.
he's alive.
I mean, if you can even call that being alive. Jeez. Oh, look, it's the bear again in another closet. That's hilarious. So funny, you guys. And I sure love the delayed reaction, waiting for him to hit the hammer. That totally worked. Comedically, the timing was mwah, the chef's kiss. So funny, you guys. So funny. You can hear the sound of my soul dying. This is everything I hate about bad comedy condensed into one game.
Yeah. So let me tell you about.
Yes, the studio who developed this.
Yeah, it called Xylam is the name of the studio. This is their
This seems
only
like the perfect time to be watching television.
Yeah, this is the only time, their only completed video game. They've mostly focused on making animated shows and movies and stuff.
Okay, so to be clear, the same studio who produced the cartoons also produced the video game.
developed it, yes.
Developed the video game. So they... Okay, that's actually a rare combination. A studio that makes both games and animations. The only other comparison that comes to mind would be Ankama Studios, which are responsible for the Dofus and Wakfu MMORPGs, as well as the animations made to promote them. And, you know, comparing this studio with Ankama, putting them in the same breath, is extremely insulting. I hate it. It's an insult to me specifically. Because Ankama Studios' material is actually really good, and this is not.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the French.
Yeah, this is their only video game output. They were trying to
Oh,
make
you don't say! Why am I not surprised?
They were trying to make another video game. It was called Can at the Prophecy or something, but they decided to instead make just put all the cutscenes into one movie and publish it as a CGI movie.
Oh no. Their
that
traditional animation is barely passable. They want to skip to CGI.
And I showed that thing in particular because it showed that the Bollock was came out of the mousetrap, and despite he going straight to the room, there was no way he could have gone into that closet without Bud noticing him. There's
Also, where is the hammer bear when you need him? What?
Yeah.
Is he only there to hit me in the head? Or you, I suppose? Oh boy. The bear is not funny. And I can already tell it's going to be a recurring gag throughout this entire game. Because of course it is. You know, when shows such as Phineas and Ferb or Milo Murphy's Law have non sequitur gags, the funny thing about those is that they are aware of their non sequitur nature and become a commentary about the tropes of TV writing. And it works in that way. Also, the timing is much better when a thing like this, yes, I'm going to call it a thing, I'm not even going to dignify it as a proper art form. When a thing like this does the random non sequitur running gag,
Hello, Mrs. Stark. Our roof is
let's
a
just
great
say
place
it's
to hang out,
misguided.
isn't it?
Your roof. You outta
At
your
least
mind,
it's not
buddy.
toilet humor, I suppose.
Roof for 8 generations. So
Oh
get your
boy, I
big
sure
butt
like
out
this
of the
beak
field.
design.
Get the hell outta here.
When the beak is a long nose and the mouth is
If you don't
not
mind, I'd like to go
combined
back to
with the
please.
beak.
Get lost, crater face. Who do you think
I
you are anyway?
don't like this design, in fact, that's the sarcasm. Okay? Wait, is it just me, or did it look like the bird had two heads for a split second?
Yeah, there was some graphical bug in there.
Oh, goody. But look at this, seriously! Look at this design! The beak is the nose! And not the mouth!
Yeah, I should also note that during these cutscenes, the game crashed constantly. During this playthrough, I guess like 11 times in total.
Wait, are we ripping off Grim Fandango, by the way? Are we ripping off anything? I'm just going to assume that we are.
About what?
I don't know, I'm recalling a puzzle at the beginning of Grim Fandango that it involved birds, or a bird's nest.
Yeah, we're dealing this bird in a different way.
Okay, so you have a carnivore plant with a unhinged jaw from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll buy that. Wacky shenanigans, aliens. We have random things because woohoo, aliens, and we're stupid aliens. Isn't that funny? You have to earn your zany comedy. You can't just throw things at the wall and expect the audience to buy into it.
Ooh!
Well, that's going to leave a mark. Let me guess, eat at Joe's. Ah, that's a missed opportunity. I thought the fireworks were going to explode and the writing "Eat at Joe's" was going to appear. That would have been a cute reference.
What is it a reference to?
Classic Looney Tunes cartoons.
Okay. So, I guess you're interested to know that
Interested is a strong word.
Animation Studio Xylam's latest effort from 2019 is their first R-rated movie, I Lost My Body, which I've heard is a rather good one.
Oh, they are responsible for that. Honestly, I've not seen it. What else have they made in the course of the years?
Hold on, let me check.
We might as well cover that at some point. I noticed the dead body on the roof, by the way.
Yeah, it was just randomly there.
Sure, that's funny. Random dead body. No context for it.
Yeah. Their animated series, both Space Goose and Oggy and the Cockroaches were purchased from Gaumont, along with Dragonfly, Sky Dancers, and the Matches and whatever those are.
Ah, so they did not even make those shows, they just own them.
Original cartoons include Cartoons, Prince of the Street, Shuriken School, Rintin Dump, A Kind of Magic, Rahan, Mr. Baby, Jig and Sarko, The Daltons, Floobaloo Where Are You, Hubert and Takako, What's the Big Idea, Rolly with the Wrongs, Paprika, not that Paprika, Coach Me If You Can.
I'm sure, yeah, Paprika by Satoshi Kon was made by the Oggy and the Cockroaches owners. Sure, that makes sense.
Coach Me If You Can, Mocha's Fabulous Adventures, Oggy Oggy, Lucy Lost, Lupin's Tales, Oggy and the Cockroaches, Next Gen, Trico, Gemma and the Defenders. And in the collaboration with Tooncan, The New Adventures of Lucky Luke, Rats, and Tupu, in collaboration with Cross River Productions, Boone and Pimento. I haven't heard any of these shows.
Yes, I've actually seen the New Adventures of Lucky Luke cartoon, as well as the Dalton spin-off. They were not good.
Okay, yeah.
They were not good. Not especially.
In collaboration with DreamWorks Animation, Mr. Magoo from 2019.
No. No, thank you.
In collaboration with Disney Animation Television Studios, Chip and Dale Park Life coming this year.
What? Excuse you? There is a new Chip and Dale cartoon, and it's not Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers?
Yeah, the characters will have an animated series, Chip and Dale Park Life, that will be released on Disney Plus on July 23rd, 2021, which will be co-produced with the Walt Disney Company France and Xylan Animation. Unlike other iterations of the characters, the series will be non-verbal, similarly to other shows produced by Xylan.
Okay, I am dreading that, but I'm also sort of hopeful because, well, it's a Disney property, they cannot afford to mess with it.
Yeah, some of the makers of this game have been part of animated series Minuscule, which is a series about bugs, and it's similar to the silent one. I thought
Okay.
it was rather funny.
Okay, one element that I absolutely dislike about this puzzle, involving getting rid of the closet with the monkey man inside of it, is that the only way for you, the player, to find out that this guy was hiding in the closet was to die.
Yeah.
Because
That's,
there was no other indication that he was hiding in the closet. You didn't know that unless you fumble upon it and you die. And if you've not saved before that, then you're screwed. This is one of the many design choices that I despise about certain adventure games.
Yeah.
The death, if allowed, if a game such as this allows for death as punishment for your mistakes, then it has to be fair. But again, the only way for you to find out about what needs to be done is to die. Which means that the death is unfair. Which means that this is bad game design.
Yeah, this is full of that.
This is bad game design. This has all the hallmarks of a bad adventure game from the design ground up. The puzzles so far have been relatively sensible and easy. If you ever have watched cartoons, you might intuit what can be done and with what item. But as soon as the peril of death is introduced and that bollocks happen,
Hey guys, don't move.
then you know you're in for a bad time.
Right away.
Yeah. Also, Xilem also has made some movies. Purchased from Gaumont, Dragonflies, The Legend Begins.
The Legend.
Yeah, Legend. And the originals are Kaena the Prophecy, Shuriken School, The Ninja Secret, Go West, A Lucky Luke Adventure, Oggy and the Cockroaches the movie, and the before mentioned I Lost My Body.
Yes.
And that is all their catalog.
So, there was a Hoagie and the Cockroaches feature film.
Yeah, from 2013.
From 2013.
Yeah.
Allow me to smack my lips in snark.
Yeah. He was just operating a fart machine.
Right, so this company purchased Augie and the Cockroaches and Stupid Invaders from another studio, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
And then they proceeded to make a film out of this property, Augie and the Cockroaches.
Yeah.
After they purchased it. The same
Yes.
with the Stupid Invaders. They decided to make a game based on this IP that they did not originally make, but purchased. Which explains why the humor, as you pointed out, is a bit more edgy and quote-unquote adult in this game, and does not reflect, thusly, the original energy of the show.
Go, bud. For once you put that insignificant, dried up raisin of a brain to good use.
Well, I'd say
Did someone say raisin?
it does have the energy, but they had just put the vulgarity levels to
When I
higher.
say energy, I meant specifically the humor.
Yeah, well, many of the people who work on the show were also working on
Okay.
this as the
13-volume dissertation on human beings and their behavior that I spent years writing. It's very important and essential.
Okay, so what are these ugly, rejected Dr. Seuss monsters going to do now?
they're trying to leave the Earth now that they've fixed their spaceship.
What is this sequence?
And he's going into his secret laboratory, where he goes to gets his encyclopedia on the human species,
Of course,
which is his life work.
Of course, his throne is the toilet. Because why wouldn't it be
So let me
the toilet?
tell you about our next player character, Ethno Polino. Ethno's the undisputed leader of the band. Whenever there's a problem, he's there with the solution. He's as phlegmatic as a Swiss banker, analyzing every situation in his cool and collected manner. And Ethno's got one big plan. Whatever the cost, he wants to finish writing his encyclopedia on human beings, whom he secretly admires. On moonless nights, you see, he too would like to have a few tufts of hair on his itsy bits. The truth is, Ethno hasn't got a clue. He's uptight and completely lacking in self-confidence, but that's his unmentionable little secret.
He sounds like a very generic placeholder for a point-and-click adventure protagonist.
Voiced by Maurice LaMarche.
Oh. I expect the voice acting to be at least decent.
Yeah, it's going to be decent, yeah.
So, when you say voiced by Maurice LaMarche, do you mean Maurice LaMarche doing his brain impression, which is his Orson Welles impression, or some other kind of voice?
He sounds something like this. It's a kind of a scientist voice or something.
I guess I'll hear it later on. Are there other notably voice actors in this
Yes,
game?
I mentioned before the bounty hunter is voiced by Billy West.
Yes.
And
Very interesting.
then there's...
I'm not even going to acknowledge that random guy on a toilet in space. Carry on.
Yeah, there's the Bud was voiced by Jeff Bennett. And there's... And he also voices the two-headed guy Stereo. And Candy is voiced by Charlie Adler and...
Oh, Charlie Adler! It is I, Mr. Bighead, also known as the Red Guy from Cow and Chicken. Woo! I love Charlie Adler. This game will find a way to ruin him for me.
Yeah, and then there's the gorgeous, the blue one is voiced by Danny Mann.
He is the man, Danny Mann.
And apparently there's also Rob Paulsen in this game, but...
Of course there's Rob Paulsen, he's in everything!
Yeah, but it didn't
I
mention
mean,
what...
do you have Maurice LaMarche in this game and not have Rob Paulsen? What kind of insanity is that?
Yeah, though it
Pinky and the
doesn't-
Brain must be together forever!
Yeah, though it doesn't mention what roles he plays.
I'm pretty sure I will instantly recognize Rob Paulsen when I hear him, because he's very recognizable.
Yeah. It doesn't mention who voices the professor who you saw in the beginning, but based on the voice, I guessed it to be LaMarche. That's my guess.
If it's anything... Okay, you know what? I have a suspicion. If it sounds anything like Dr. Scratch and Sniff, then it's 100% Rob Paulsen.
Okay.
Right.
It's kind of a more nasally, but yeah.
Good morning, my electric computer friend. I need to get into the safe to get something very important.
Hello, Ethno. How are you, my dear friend? Were you able to get the phone number of the famous Maurice for me, like I asked?
Who in Zebra's name is Maurice?
Maurice?
So, what exactly are we accomplishing here? Maurice? The famous Maurice? Maurice? Is this a meta joke? Are we doing a meta joke right now? Right here?
I have no idea. You're going
Are
to
we-
see it.
Open the door to the safe. But why
Yes, we've gotten Maurice LaMarche, the famous Maurice LaMarche,
Yeah.
to
The
voice this
encyclo-
character.
The encyclopedia is behind a safe, but we need to talk to this computer to open it. This is
Very politely.
this game's only conversation-based puzzle.
to open the door, my dear?
Uh-huh. I don't dislike conversation-based puzzles.
There are
At
times
least
in a
they are
computer's life when it
much
must
more
refrain from asking
straightforward
questions.
than just
But there are
pick one item and try to use it with another item up until it works. Which is how one usually brute forces their way into these games.
And I can uncreate you. So open the safe and shut up.
I knew it. You want to leave me behind like an old toaster. Well, you're not going anywhere. You're going
This
to
is
stay
the
right
only
here
conversation.
with the bitter end.
To more accurate, this is the only conversation that has a possible failure state, which I'm about to show you here.
Oops.
Yeah.
And everyone in a 5 miles radius died. This is one of the Maniac Mansion endings. Right, so what are we trying to accomplish here at this moment?
Yeah, we are trying to get the. Before they leave the Earth, he wants to get his encyclopedia on human species.
Let me guess, he's the one responsible for writing the Encyclopedia Dramatica. He has the face. He's got the face of somebody who would write several entries on the Encyclopedia Dramatica.
Yeah.
Do you even know what that is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Oh, so you know why this is funny. It's a funny joke. I make funny jokes, okay? I'm funny, damn you! Say I'm funny!
This is the thing that they use in the series to disguise themselves as humans.
Okay, well, that was clearly his Republican disguise. But
Before the puzzle requires it, you can just change into random things with this. But eventually, when it's needed, then you change
Slim
into something
Predator,
else.
Monochrome Snail.
And then one more.
Does he ever change into Bill Clinton? Cool. They could have come up with funnier disguises, but they
Yeah.
didn't.
Okay, now we properly do the conversation puzzle.
My electric computer
Cool
friend. I need to get into the
beans.
safe to get something very important.
I like his sassy pose when he speaks.
Were you able to get the phone number of the famous Maurice for me, like I asked?
It's Ethno and the Brain. Yes, Ethno and the Brain. One is an idiot,
Maurice?
the other is two.
Boy, would I live to see it.
Lovely day for a game of cricket, isn't it?
Don't avoid the issue, my friend. I know that you didn't come here to talk about cricket.
They're alien invaders.
Okay.
They want to leave the
I'm not here
Earth.
to talk about cricket.
They're
I'm
ethno.
here to collect my dissertation.
They're Ethno and the Brain, 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 brain.
Ready. How nice of you to come and get me for the big trip.
Before each night is done,
There's a slight logistical
their plan will be unfurled by the dawning of the sun.
5 seats and there are 5 of us.
They will have left the Earth.
Oh, I'm terribly
Oh gosh,
sorry, but there isn't
it's
enough
Ethno and the Brain.
You lied to me.
Yes, Ethno and the Brain.
I'm with you.
Their Twilight campaign is easy to... what was it again? Their Twilight campaign is easy to explain.
We would never leave without you.
To prove
Yes.
their alien worth,
Seats on the ship.
they're going to ditch the Earth.
Tell me that I'm
They're Ethno.
There isn't any
They're Ethno and the Brain, 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 brain. Da-da-da-da-da.
But of course
Murph!
there is. There's plenty of space for you if I load your memory onto a disk.
That wasted a couple of minutes. Yay!
But my memory represents the equivalent of 114 million disks, and according to my calculations,
The
ship's
computer
trouble
wants to get with them, but
room for my Polish and 3
it's
The computer wants to leave this this disgusting planet too, huh?
Okay, it's true
Yeah, he's
that we're
eventually
rules,
going to say it.
but
Kind of
here's what
like
I'm
that,
going to do.
actually.
I'm going to make 2 trips, drop the others off, and then I'll come back for you.
Right, so
My dear friend, I don't need to tell you that this planet is a dangerous place.
Blight is a dangerous place, and pollution, holes in the ozone, people honking when they're stuck. I'm glad I finished reading the sentence after I read people honking. Otherwise, this could have been taken out of context.
Okay, so now we can use that to get the property Skype as the famous Maurice, whoever that is.
Maurice LaMarche, clearly.
I'm not sure. Well, this was originally French, so I'm not sure if they made up voice actor specific gags.
Oh, look, a scrotum. That's hilarious.
And
I
that's
think
the Maurice.
I think I will have to censor the scrotum. Thanks, game.
Maurice, is that you? Unbelievable. I had given up all
So,
hope of meeting
why
you.
is he
Me,
a
the
giant
Maurice.
mouse?
I need to get something very important.
I have no idea. Sometimes I feel that there's lots of inside jokes in this.
Just love it if you
Oh, inside jokes. My favorite kind of jokes.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh, here's a
the story
poor
of the
joke.
dentist who invites a monkey to his wedding. So the monkey goes up to the mother-in-law and says, "Is that you? Or am I looking at myself eating bananas with my butt in the rearview mirror?"
Yes, your orders are my commands.
What's the joke in that?
I have no idea. In space, no one can hear your stupid jokes.
That's true. that is true. That is true. I cannot dispute that statement. Oh no. Oh no. So, his encyclopedia really is a container for his penis enlarger, which he doesn't
Yeah.
have.
Maybe it's kind of an where I'm trying to think what the word is. Attracts, and it can go. You can extract it when needed. Some dinosaurs have had that kind of.
I am going to ask you to stop this line of thought immediately. Cease and desist. I will contact my lawyer, which will contact your lawyer. And now there is this guy again. He just won't quit. And he's looking at us. Oh.
Yeah, this game is rather inconsistent on what actually kills people in this.
Oh, this doesn't sound good. Well, this doesn't look good. Because it's Stupid Invaders, the game. That's why it doesn't look good. Okay. Oh, well, that was a short game. Goodbye.
So, did we find our little dissertation? It's not gonna take up a lot of room, is it?
This house
Oh,
sure
no.
is exploding, I must say.
Da 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 da. It's a bit of.
Thanks. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that rendition.
Yeah, explosion!
Directed by Michel Bailly, the French cousin knockoff Michael Bay. Oh. Le Gasp. Oh, look at those Peter Chan clouds. Nice, they remind me of better games.
What clouds?
Oh, they remind me of the clouds designed by Peter Chan in classic LucasArts games.
Okay.
You know, better games.
Yeah.
Much better games. Cosmically greater games.
Spaceship is built with the newest, most efficient UFO technology on the market.
it's as if LucasArts
Sounds like an old washing machine.
is the sun, and this game is Pluto. Look at them falling. Oh, good. For a second I thought this game was about done. No, of course, there has to be more trouble. They cannot just leave when it's convenient to them. No, we have to pad out the length of this game some more, because people paid money for it. Clearly, that was a great decision to purchase this game.
And in this almost literal cliffhanger, we shall return next time.
Great! As you can see, as you can hear from the enthusiasm in my voice, I cannot wait to come back to Stupid Invaders from the creators, actually from the owners of the IP, the greatest IP ever, Ogie and the Cockroaches. The makers of Ogie and the Cockroaches movie, producers of The New Adventures of Lucky Luke, and the Dalton spin-off.
Here's another random piece of trivia. The opening song of Space Goofs is performed by Iggy Pop.
Excuse me, I think my brain just skipped a bit there. Did you just say that they had Iggy Pop? The Iggy Pop?
Yep.
Perform? Oh, this is just... What is it with French cartoons and famous music artists performing their opening songs? This is just like The Cure. This is just like The Cure with Dragon Hunters.
Yeah, apparently that song Monster Man is published as a single.
I have no words. Why? Why did they have these weird connections? Why The Cure sang the opening song for Dragon Hunters, one of the most forgettable cartoons I've ever heard about? And why did Iggy Pop sing the opening for a thing called Stupid Invaders? Did he really need the money?
Yeah, that is as random as is in that, what was that game, Blue Dragon or something, where some 80s rock star is playing one of the boss teams.
I mean, it's about as random as The Cure and Dragon Hunters. We are up there. This is nonsense.
Let me check.
This game. It's been a roller coaster thus far. And by that I mean the flatline version of a roller coaster where nothing of note happens. You should design your roller coasters better in Roller Coaster Tycoon. Come on, gamers, get it together! Oh, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. So, this game is... What can I say about this game? It sure is a game, I suppose. I suppose I can refer to it as a game in the very technical sense.
Yeah, there's still about 2.5 hours of material left of this game.
Oh, splendid. I cannot wait. Certainly, it cannot get any better than this.
Yeah.
Any better than this.
Well, I guess the music is rather nice in this.
Again,
when you get to hear it.
Again, I will listen to this video properly when I edit all the pieces together. And then I will get back to you and tell you my impressions about the game's soundtrack.
I love playing with my organ.
Yeah, but yeah, it can kind of see all the problems this game generally has. It's not very well designed.
It's not
Puzzle.
well designed, it's not funny. Humor is subjective. But I've got to say, this game is not funny. This comedy is not funny. It seems akin to a product of its times in the worst and most on-the-nose way imaginable.
At age 11, I laugh at its demo, but since then my sense of humor has grown.
Yes, but you see, that's the issue with what passes for adult humor in cartoons, even to this day. Because this juvenile, mean-spirited, edgy for the sake of edgy sense of humor is really more appealing to teenagers who have yet to develop a sense of humor. If you are an adult and you find this funny, I might judge you a bit more harshly because of that. And it's not like some forms of juvenile and even toilet humor cannot have their raison d'etre, so to speak. They cannot be ever funny. It's all a matter of the setup, the payoff, the timing, the presentation, the context, the scenario, the comedians involved, the writing. Everything I just said is required to make a joke land. And this game does not have it. This game does not have it. The personality, the charisma, the writing chops to pull this off. It's very lazily written from what I can see. It's very predictable in its use of gross out humor. And there isn't really much else to add that the game itself hasn't already shown to us. Again, it's a product of its times in the worst possible way. Well, I guess it's not drawn together at the very least, but it's not funny. That's the beginning and the end of my thesis about Stupid Invaders. It's not funny, it's bad, and it should feel bad.
Yeah. Based
But
on
you know
its
what?
first-
But you know what? This is only the first act, theoretically. First impressions, as it were.
Yeah.
There is a bunch more game to go through, apparently, and I'm going to regret this, but let's see what happens
Yeah, there
next.
are two more parts. One part for each of the game's locations.
Is this revenge for ditching you that one time that we were supposed to record this, but we didn't? Is this retribution?
I just wanted
Is
to-
this vengeance for Alicia the Punch Cat?
No,
Did you
man.
secretly resent me for that?
Yeah, sometimes people exaggerate their negative experiences, which was kind of a jab on your assumption that this is some kind of revenge. Don't you know me at all? I'm the man of pure virtue and stuff.
I am keeping my eye on you, Buster. Okay, everyone. I guess we'll see you next time for more of Stupid Invaders, which is funny because it's like Space Invaders, but it's stupid instead of space, even though they still come from space. So they are stupid space invaders, technically. And the title really says it all.
Join us next week to see what kind of wacky, smelly shenanigans they'll get next time.
Oh, they will smell. I could smell it as we were watching it.
Oh yeah, the next one will really smell. Because there's a lot of dung going to be involved.
Oh, goody. Goody. Also, thanks for the extra homework that you have given me. I have to censor not one, but 2 things at least, if not more. Hallelujah. Okay, and with that said, I've been Madhog, thy master.
And I've been hedonistic actor.
And don't watch Augie and the Cockroaches.
Fart joke.
Right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah, right. The newest, most efficient US.
Well, here we are in the Philippines. Sam and Max reference.
Oh, I was just wondering if you actually visited there and witnessed.
No, this looks nothing like the actual Philippines. I know at least that much. Anyway, we are back with our stupid invaders. And
Yep.
we are back with our rhetoric and commentary as we delve deeper into this veritable cesspool of a game, which seems like an appropriate analogy given the place they ended up.
Yep.
Is
I
this
can tell you,
a dung
check
sale?
from the Dung Factory. The Best Brothers Dung Factory was built in the 50s, and a lot of people think it's the 8th wonder of the world. 800,000 tons of toothpaste are produced here each year. But so far nobody's quite worked out the connection between toothpaste and cow dung.
Is this designed specifically to annoy me?
You know, this place that is the consists of the second third of this game is kind of an detour.
So I've noticed. You know what I always thought was missing from Stupid Invaders? A blob monster made of dung. That's really what this game was missing. That's really what was needed to improve my gaming experience significantly. Also, hearing Charlie Adler screaming. And I suppose we're taking control of this one guy who was separated from the group.
Yep. So yeah, these two were sent. If you didn't read, they were sent to pick some cow dung from their pig so they could fuel their ship or something.
Yes, that makes sense to me. I will not question it, because I learned the hard way that questioning this game is bad for your mental health. Speaking of mental health and bad things, this image, this frame of a screenshot that is now forever burnt into my retinas.
Yeah. They're just... Yeah, there's not that much of a tight plot, and this game mostly consists of these kind of vignettes, as you could say.
Vignette. That's a very sophisticated way of putting it. I admire your hustle, Matti. Oh, exploding birds. Of course, this was Angry Birds before Angry Birds. I knew they were ripping off something. I just didn't know it was stupid invaders.
What annoys me when I'm thinking of this game mechanics logic, how that situation didn't lead to a game over, but then some other situations do. This game is rather inconsistent on what kills the characters.
That is a problem when you have a potential deadly outcome in a game that's supposed to be mostly slapstick comedy. What ends up killing your character feels rather arbitrary and doesn't really make sense with the comedic context in which the Looney Tune reject toxic waste of your character doesn't die when a random bear inside a closet hits him with a hammer, but apparently dies when a freeze ray, well, freezes them.
Well, I guess they didn't really die, they just froze, and if you melt them, then they're back in the jiffy again.
Okay, I suppose, but then what about all the other times in which they die? For example, I see this gigantic abomination of a bird, which from a certain distance it looks like it's made of bog mud. It is now approaching, and I have immediately noticed the mammary glands and the bucket.
Its name's Chickenzilla.
And I am so sad to be alive right now, having realized what comes next. There is nothing really I could add at this point that the game wouldn't already exemplify itself. Oh no.
Yep.
Do I have to censor this? That is the moral dilemma at this stage. Oh. Oh, stock footage of a real nuclear explosion. This could almost be considered funny if I wasn't completely and utterly deprived of the joy of living because of the setting.
That reminds me, by the time of recording this video, have you started to edit the first Stupid Invaders video?
Oh yes, you edited. You know, since you bothered to edit that video in the first place, you could have added the censored bits. Instead, you had me doing it, making me work double.
Yeah, I'm not talented enough to do that. So, but I was going to ask if now that you could able to hear the sound, if it affected to your experience somewhat.
I was going to bring it up when the time was right. I'm sorry, I wasn't quite done reacting to the obscenity So, yes, I've actually finished editing the first video as we speak. It will go live on my YouTube right after I finished watching this. And I will tell you this. I will tell you this. The soundtrack is nothing special. It is serviceable at best.
Hold on, there's a somewhat decent joke coming up.
We're gonna split up. I'm going to the left, you turn right.
Turn to the left, and the one's left. Oh, this is where you've gotten your sense of humor, isn't it? This is your idea of a political joke. This influenced you when you wrote your characters in Energy Core of Power, isn't it? This is where it comes from. This game.
Yeah, I was also a lot of watching Finnish satire animation, so Aristocrats, which satirized the Finnish politics of the day. But
The Aristocrats, the punchline to about 1 million jokes.
wait, it was Autocrats. That was the name.
Oh, I thought it was weird. The Autocrats, yes. Okay, so do you want to hear my opinion about this game's soundtrack or not?
Okay, yeah.
Just ring the bell
Yeah,
if you
let's
don't.
continue with that.
It's serviceable at best, as I was saying. I wouldn't exactly call it emotive music. It's, again, it serves the purpose of accompanying the game, but it doesn't exactly stand out to my memory. It's not something I would find myself...
Hello there, wild thing. I'm Nelson. And what's your name?
I don't see your face, but I can imagine what it looks like.
So, you like it here?
Again,
This is my
once again,
bachelor pad.
you could have censored this yourself.
That over there is my
I don't
Instead-
know how to do that.
What you're gonna do, sweetie, is get on it. And you see over there...
Just put a freaking picture on top of the footage, and that counts as censorship. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how much does it take for me to edit these episodes? And now you have to...
Hey.
And now I'm going to have to censor a gosh darn man... A gosh darn bunny man's butt. Thanks to you.
Elspeth thought it was good enough for 11 years old, so I don't know if I need to censor that. Or not.
I swear to the gods above, I swear to your Norse gods, Matti, that if something like this happens again, I'm calling it quits, okay? You will be the one editing this series from now on.
Yeah.
Just... I get the joke. He's the gluttonous one, so he eats. Fantastic.
Yep.
Can I finish talking about the soundtrack now? Before I get rudely interrupted by something else. I'm sorry, are we taking hot pictures now?
Andy.com is gonna make
Yep.
Okay, I did not know what was happening for a second. Either the game was losing frame rates, or I was having a stroke.
Okay, so you said the music was serviceable.
It's okay, it's fine. It's not the kind of music I would find myself humming it in the bathroom. It's just what it is. It's a soundtrack.
Yeah.
As for the voice acting, we established that there are cows on the wall. I mean, we established that the voice acting, there is just so much nonsense happening at once in this episode that I cannot keep an argument or a topic of discussion flowing. I just have to look at this, have a double take, react in utter befuddlement. What is happening right now? I'm completely lost. Where are we?
Talking to cows. We are the factory that produces toothpaste and cow dung for some reason.
Oh my gosh, why is this the most impressive set piece in the game thus far? The dung factory. with cows attached to it, a la Matrix. I can feel years of my life just evaporating as we speak.
So what about voice acting?
The voice acting. As we said, there are a lot of good voice actors in this game, and I'm assuming also in the original cartoon. They are the same from the cartoon, aren't they? Okay,
yes,
so
they
have... this will actually link us to a topic of discussion I will bring up in a moment, because I find it weird. But regardless of the voice acting, I have to say, in spite of these being some of the most recognizable names in the American voice acting scene, the likes of Charlie Adler, Billy West, Jeff Bennett, and also Maurice LaMarche, this is not their best performance. These characters are not their best performances. Maurice LaMarche has brought a lighter version of his Orson Welles impression that doesn't really fit the character, in my opinion. Not as much as it fit the brain. And Jeff Bennett is producing a very generic, dumb guy voice. And did I just see, for a split second, a piece of the Confederate flag on that stage?
Yep, you're about to see it more fully. Does this need to be censored? I don't know.
No, but I will absolutely take a literal and metaphorical dump on that piece of garbage flag and what it represents. So this kills him, right?
Yep.
And yet the explosion didn't. I would think that an explosion in his face would be a bit deadlier than bullets, but what would I know?
Yeah, I guess in the explosion his head or brain part was still intact, but in this it wasn't.
The moment you start to come up with excuses to justify the game's logic is the moment you have lost, my friend. Okay, so the Bunnyman, other than being a pervert, an alien kidnapper, and a furry, is also a bloody Confederate. He's a racist, pro-slavery douchebag who voted for Bush, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm not... Well, he isn't the only person in this building.
So, you know what? It would stand to reason that a literal dung factory is owned by some Confederate douchebag. All of a sudden, this makes too much sense. And I would almost be tempted to praise the game for at least trying to present a valid political stance in that, you know, racists are pieces of shit. In this case, I'm assuming the analogy is quite literal. That is the only nice thing I will say about this game. I doubt it will impress me again. I mean, impress me is a big word. But it's something.
Well, I do still think this art is rather good for its time. I mean, the textures are smooth instead of the bloggy things the 3D graphics usually were at that time.
Oh! So now there is a censorship. And yet...
Yeah, I didn't that.
I know, the game did it. And yet, they didn't bother to censor the moonshine from earlier. Again, this is a French game. I think they have their priorities reversed compared to America. In the United States, violence is fantastic, but we cannot show nudity. In France, they are absolutely fine with nudity, but violence is bad.
Yeah. In Europe in general doesn't have that strong of a nudity taboo, at least in Finland there isn't.
Again, the joke about censoring that death scene, because it's graphic, doesn't really land, because I was already traumatized by looking at that racist bunny man's buttocks. I cannot laugh at this, I'm just poisoned. I am envenomated.
Let me at this point tell you about the character we are currently playing as the gorgeous Klaatu. He hates humans and their lousy rotten planet. He can pick up the putrid odor of an earthling and morph at more than 2 miles. Gorgeous is a gourmet, a gut with legs. He's just wild about goulash, or a nice dish of pony with beans. His favorite pastimes? Raking his sausage field and pestering Candy when he's taking his shower. Despite his virile looks
Wait, hold on. Backpedal a little bit. What was the bit about the shower?
Yeah, he's pestering Candy.
While he's in the shower. What does that mean? Are we implying what I think we are implying here? Considering what you told me about Candice last time.
Yeah,
What does pestering mean in this context? Does he prank him while he's under the shower? Or does he get in the shower with him and they have a shower together? A very sexy, hot, gay alien shower together.
So, despite his virile looks and fiery temperament, Gorgeous quickly chickens out in dangerous situations. He never stops moaning and groaning like a crabby old woman.
Ah, the obligatory misogynistic joke.
Yeah. The series itself doesn't have any sex jokes, unlike this game, but it does have sexist jokes.
I would imagine. Correct me if I'm wrong. The voice actors playing their roles in this game, they were the same from the cartoon. The cartoon also had Maurice LaMarche, Jeff Bennett, etc., etc. Correct?
Yes.
Alright. And the cartoon, which was from 1998, I believe?
Yeah, 1997, 1998.
Was called Space Goofs. That is the branding name. That's how it was internationally renowned. They sold it internationally as Space Goofs.
Yeah. There was another name, Home for Rent, named after the place they were living throughout the series, but I'm not sure if it was actually in any regions or did they change it before they started to.
Okay, but the English international name is Space Goofs. That's the branding of it, right?
Yeah.
So my question is this. Why have they changed the name of the series for this game?
Yeah, apparently, I guess it was just because they could make a parody name of this, one of the first video games.
Okay,
Space
but
Invaders.
it doesn't really make sense from a brand standpoint. They have an already established brand with an established name, which is Space Goofs. If you title this game, which is supposed to be attached to the property as a way to promote the property, and you call it with another name, you changed the already established brand name, you are doing a disservice to your property, and that's just common sense. That's bad for business.
Yeah, I guess they kind of partially distance it from that. I mean, it mentions in the ending credits that this is based on the series.
If they have distanced from it, then... Okay, but if they have distanced it from it, what about all the inside jokes that no one will get unless they have watched the cartoon?
Yeah, this... I guess because this game is a tad raunchier than the original cartoon. Not much, but still noticeable.
It's the same characters, with the same voice actors and the same personality in the same scenario, setting, and premise. They just made the humor a tad more raunchy, as you put it. But it's the same bloody property, the same bloody thing. And yet they changed the name from Space Goofs to Stupid Invaders. Which honestly, for any already existing fan of the property, that will be extremely confusing. But this actually brings me to my next question for you, which I wanted to bring up for a while.
Yeah, also apparently the series was popular only in its native France, so
Okay, that's starting
really
to make a lot of sense then. The rebranding might make a lot of sense if they were trying to reach an international audience, which I would assume it's the case, given the talent involved in the voice acting department. I sure love to see this blue alien slapping that cow's behind all the way to the other end of the factory. That's just... Oh, look at that anus. That is such a detailed anus. Boy howdy. Boy howdy. Alright, Matti, let's talk numbers, let's talk data, let's talk sheer popularity factor here. How much did it cost to make this game? What was the budget?
I have no idea.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you serious, Matti? Why don't you know this? You are the one with all the background information.
Yeah, I don't usually look at the numbers.
It's important.
Unless it's,
I'm asking you to look at the number right now. Go check it out right now. I don't care. I'm going to react this alone if I have to. I need that information. And while you're at it, please look up how much it made back in sales. So, meanwhile, let's see what the green screen alien is doing. Perfectly blended with that green background. I'm sorry, what did these two do?
I have no idea.
Did the bunny...
I'd like to...
Did the bunny man... Did the bunny man sexually assault the green guy?
I hope not.
He woke up from the bed from where the bunny man was also sleeping. I don't like this game. I don't like this game.
Yeah, the Wikipedia article doesn't reveal sales numbers, just says that the
Yes?
it received mixed reviews.
Oh, you don't say. Let's talk about the mixed reviews then.
From both platforms. Aside from Windows and Macintosh, it was also released on Dreamcast.
I'm aware of that, strangely enough.
The game received mixed
Did the
reviews
bunny man assault the alien again?
Maybe he just stuck him in the bed or something.
I hate
We only know that
this.
We only know that he took pictures for www.nakedcandy.com. I don't know
I
if that's right.
hate this. This is bad.
Yeah, I don't particularly
This
love
video
that
will
either.
get demonetized in record time. What are you showing to me, Matti? What is this abomination? Oh no. This is no good. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is giving furries a bad image. I feel sorry for all the furries in the world. You're not like this guy, most of you. I know that for a fact. But my gosh. My gosh, this is bad. This is
Yeah,
everything I could possibly not want to see from a game. Basically a 90s game.
yeah. Let me tell you about our lovable player character, Candy Caramella. Candy's a manic depressive, an ocean of tenderness lost in a world of brutes. He's emotional and as precious as a virgin in a provincial convent. At home, Candy's a proper little housewife. He irons gorgeous leather briefs, stows away in the garden, sweats over the washing up, etc., etc. But when he kicks up a stink, it's as spectacular as it's unexpected. He's as sweet as pie and a pushover to exploit, but woe betide he who pushes Candy too far.
Interestingly enough, you mentioned that Candy has manic depression.
That's what it says in the manual.
And you also said that Candy is ostensibly a trans woman whom is yet to come out.
Yeah, in one of the very first episodes, when he looked at the closet when they were moving in the house, he kind of said that, "Wow, this is a big closet. I don't even have to never get out of here," or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
so okay.
My understanding that he is a male.
So I
but,
don't know. I don't know about Candy's actual situation here, but out of respect, I respect that's
I think
not quite
he's a male,
earned,
but
I'm going to use she/her pronouns, if that's the same with you. You
Okay.
told me that she wants to have a sex change.
yeah.
I'm going
It
to
was
go off with
said in
that, and I'm going to assume that she is trans. So let's talk about this, shall we? Let's talk about representation of trans people, in this case trans women, in this godforsaken...
Yeah, in my understanding, he is a man, but in the show he usually disguised as a woman, and I guess he liked it enough that he wants to finalize the deal, so to speak.
That is a very 90s way of portraying transgenderism in a comedic light. That's a bit offensive, if not a lot offensive. I suppose it can be worse.
They do tend to make fun of his femininity and make jabs at it once in a while.
Again, I'm going to use she/her pronouns to refer to Candy out of respect.
Yeah, I can change it to that as well.
Yes, I mean,
Though the ones who actually say that she's a degenerate because of her needs
boy.
are clearly villains of the story.
if the supposed good guys also make fun of her for her habits and personality, and
I mean,
even her depression, which you established she has, that doesn't really make anybody look good. And it also means that her transness, or at the very least her exploration of gender, is there entirely to be funny for the benefit of whatever audience is looking at this. And I've said this many times before, but Stupid Invaders isn't exactly the kind of either show or game I would trust to properly tackle or represent certain kinds of people, demographics, and certain kinds of issues, let alone being trans and suffering from manic depression. There is nothing funny about these things, but oh boy, were they all the rage in dumb 90s comedies.
She has a rather weird relationship with Gorgeous, who most frequently does jab at his her more feminine side, but Gorgeous doesn't really mock her transgenderness, and they seem to be playful enough that I'm not 100% sure if they have any malicious intent, so to speak.
If you add the fact that he pesters her in the shower, that can either mean two things in my mind right now.
Hello, my name is Candy.
Either he is molesting her, or they have a fling going on. And I don't know if we are making this game 100 billion times more interesting just by talking about this possible scenario or fun theories, if you will.
Yeah.
But I'll take what I can to make my experience less painful.
Maybe Gorgeous at this point has already acknowledged that she's going to be a woman in the future, so might as well treat her as such.
Oh, so it's the old gag in which the guy says, "So, have you cut it off yet? Can we be heteronormative?" Oh, that's been done a million times. That's also a terrible joke in a show that I would otherwise like. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that is. So yes, media and representation of trans people in media have only begun just now to do a proper, fine, acceptable job in terms of representation, and we still have clearly a long way to go, especially with all the real-life backlash towards trans people by the same people, really, by the same awful monsters who advocated for not allowing gay marriage to exist 20 or so years ago. That's a whole needle's nest of a topic that I have already brought up in a podcast with the bar. I don't think I have the energy or the emotional fortitude to properly expand on that, especially since we are reacting to Stupid Invaders right about now.
Yeah, right now we can just watch on how just innocently trying all the levers can cause you a game over.
In very similar ways, I see. So far, the deaths have been excruciatingly arbitrary compared to the funny bits, the funny explosions that don't kill you.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think Candice deserves better, and I'm not just saying that because she's voiced by Charlie Adler, whom, amidst this entire cast, is the one who's properly hamming it up, as he's usually wont to do, and I love him when he does that. I think Candice deserves better if they ever bother with, oh my gosh, this fish is right out of my nightmares. If they ever bother to reboot this show, they need to do a better job in representing trans people, if that's the intention with Candice. Either that or...
Yeah, they made the second season in mid 2000s, but I haven't seen
That's
any
an
episode
even
from
worse period of time! That's an even worse period of time for cartoons than the 90s.
that.
Okay. So, I understand Candy is trying to escape from the rapist Bunnyman?
No worries, we won't see him again.
I hope he dies. In a
Let's
video
see.
game. Right.
Most likely, yeah.
So,
So yeah, we had to take that Fugu fish because we need it in a puzzle in order to get past that.
I see. I understand. Ah, I see. Somebody didn't fix the toilet. This might be because my brain is a bit all over the place, trying to simultaneously focus on the game and on topics of discussion. I am bad at multitasking. But do you think that all these various locations don't really connect with each other thematically? Or is it just me? It seems rather arbitrary. Oh, look, it's the bear again. That's so funny. It seems rather arbitrary to have a setting that's called a Dang Factory, and then within the same setting, we cut to a Bunnyman sex dungeon, and then there is a kitchen here with what I'm assuming is an offensive stereotype of a Japanese chef cutting the fugu fish.
Yeah, but he's now dead.
Of course it is. So, is it just me, or is this incredibly incoherent as a setting?
Yeah, I guess it's one of those random lols things.
Random lols, don't ever say that to me again.
And here we see another example of how pressing random buttons causes you game overs.
Oh, that's fun. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. 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 Ha ha ha.
Yep.
Ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Right.
Now, where did I put my parachute?
Okay.
Okay, let's get back to business.
I'm looking at the running time of this video to see when it's going to end.
Yeah, there's about
Not fast enough.
10 minutes left. But yeah, I guess it's rather random. I mean, I get that a factory needs a kitchen, but
Why does a factory, especially a Dang factory, have a rocket launcher station?
wait, there was a rocket launcher station?
Didn't they shoot the elevator up in space? Just now?
Oh, yeah.
It looked a bit like a rocket launching station for a second, but now we are in Freddy Krueger's world. A boiler room. This is the most inconsistent set of locations condensed into one place, which begs the question if the developers of this game thought about making the 3D rooms before figuring out how to fit them all together, because this seems very arbitrary. This seems very, very inconsiderate to me specifically. And that did not kill her. Instead, it allowed her to assume a new shape that will then grant her access to a previously closed off passage. Again,
Yeah.
this is infuriating. This is much more infuriating than I have previously emphasized. This is just nonsense. Either you have ridiculous death scenes that actually kill your character, or you have hammy over-the-top slapstick that does not kill your character. You cannot have them both. You need some sort of balance. You cannot have your character die via explosion or via flamethrower or bullets and not have that character die via a smaller explosion or being squished. It just creates a dissonance.
Oh, back together again.
Yay, the beautiful couple is back together again.
Look, I got a problem with this cow. Madhog
Oh, you have more than one problem, my friend.
gonna need some good old-fashioned chili con.
You see the cow represents your inability to. You see, the cow represents your masculine insecurities because you're attracted to the mammaries, but you're also attracted to the
Go, Candy.
bunghole.
Heat it up with your thighs.
I don't
Yeah,
know where
he
I was
was
going
early-
with that.
Yeah, he was earlier flirting with the cows.
Oh, bestiality. Let's add it to the list of kinks? Question mark?
I mean, it's a female, so it goes.
You know why bestiality is unacceptable as a kink?
Jumping turnips, it's organic chicken.
Because
Yeah,
the
because,
animal cannot consent to it.
Yeah.
Okay, that didn't kill her, but yet it killed her? No,
I mean, maybe
no,
he-
game. You're not just having your
And-
cake and eating it too. You're having your cake and just take said
And
cake
the
and put it in your
most
pants.
And
Yes.
the most insulting thing is you don't even have to. Interact with that character. The game doesn't require it in any way.
Okay, then what is the character doing there? What was that character? What is this place?
I guess they were planning to put a puzzle in there, but forgot.
What is this place actually? Where are we now? I am lost. I did not follow any of this.
Yeah, we are back in the kitchen area and the giant aquarium.
Oh, I
need
dislike
to-
this.
We need to heat up the chili
Sure.
with the stuff.
Hey, I just realized
Mm.
I don't know what the goal of this area is.
In the previous conversation, Cortes explained that the cow can't make dung because he's constipated,
Oh,
so
that
then it's
explains
chili
it.
for.
What makes you think I was actually bothering with that conversation? What makes you think that I, a sane man, was bothering?
Well, you're constantly asking why is this happening, so I thought you'd
Yes,
be
well,
interested to know.
it's a rhetorical question. I don't actually care what's happening. I'm trying to feel the length of this video, waiting for it to inevitably end at some point. Right? But I am quickly running out of complaints, as it were. I cannot. I am trying not to fill this video with several silent moments from our behalf. Do you understand my plight, Matti?
Yeah, well,
Oh, let me guess.
Soon,
Let me guess. Let me guess. They're going to show the cow producing cow pie without cutting away. They're going to showing it in its entirety, aren't they?
actually, well, let's see. She refused to crap in the ground.
Ugh. Are we done?
Yeah.
Ah! I knew it! I knew it! I hate this! I hate this! Oh! This is disgusting! I'm so glad the VAR is not here to look at this. Don't ever do this to me! Don't ever do this to me again, Matti. I swear I will end this friendship.
Didn't you say in the previous video that toilet humor has its place?
You will be able to get out of here. Very well, and
Okay, first of all,
as my father
when I say toilet humor, I don't mean having to literally look at scat, my friend. Second of all, this game is an extremely good argument as to not have toilet humor in comedy ever again.
Yeah, I don't like toilet humor anymore.
I never
And,
really liked it.
And he farted. And this causes this. Yeah, explosion!
Directed by Michel Bailly. So that's the end of the Dang Factory.
Yep.
To summarize this segment of the game, the aliens had their ship broken, but now it's repaired, and they can move to the next area.
Yeah.
That's
And
all that
apparently-
happened. That's all that matters narratively.
And apparently that bounty hunter managed to follow them there. Somehow.
Sure, he's a professional after all.
As my father used to say, patience is a liability. Or that's what he
Shut
said.
up. Shut up.
Boy, the architect of
Right.
this must have had a serious Oedipus complex.
That was a cumbersome set of locations and puzzles held together by glue. The poor quality glue, as it were.
Yeah.
I'm sure glad it's over. Let us never speak of it ever again.
Yeah. We mentally prepare for the next time, as Area 52 is a
Is it
90
going-
minutes long video.
Is it going to be worse than the Dang Factory / kitchen / Bunnyman sex dungeon / space rocket station?
Well, there's going to be a lots of randomness there too.
By this point, I would not expect anything less from this cursed game. I cannot believe this is so much worse than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Oh, she said it! She said it! It's canon! She said it.
Yeah.
It's canon, I suppose. She's trans, confirmed. I wish it were to be confirmed in a less abrasive manner, but hey, that's your representation, LGBTQ folks. Aren't you glad that this game exists? Ugh.
Trans rights? Question mark.
Oh, this is not good. Oh,
And he
well,
betrayed the bounty hunter.
at least he's died. I'm glad
And
he's
in
dead.
that exciting cliffhanger, we shall continue from next time.
I'm so glad I don't have to look at his face ever again. Ugh. Okay, so, Matti, my good friend, my good buddy, what did we learn today?
Something about that trans representation wasn't that good, and it has only recently started to be something of a adequate.
Okay, I said that as a joke. I wasn't expecting a serious answer from you. But no, what we actually learned is that toothpaste is made of cow pie.
Yeah, apparently.
Also, the toothpaste industry is full of racists. Don't buy toothpaste. Have your teeth decay instead.
Use xylitol instead, or those. What are those fresh mint pills that give you a fresh?
Sure.
breath?
Whatever you do, don't buy toothpaste from the racist toothpaste industry. Also, they're made of cow pie. You know, that's bad for your teeth, I assume. We shall uncover the big lie of the toothpaste industry, which shall be one further step in our war against capitalism.
According to a clinical test, the toothpaste causes holes in your teeth in the same time as it fixes them.
Oh wow, really?
No, it was. It was a joke from Mad Magazine.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. This episode is going to be my death. I can tell you that much for free. My gosh, that was memorable in the worst way imaginable. Oh, stupid invaders. Stupid. As a wise man once said, stupid.
Well, there's still a grande finale left. And I promise you can choose next time from my collection what do you want me to play. I can put some more freeware options as well to really widen up the selection.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
You're a dung.
Don't worry, guys. In 90 minutes, it's all going to be over.
Why? Oh, why? Why must I suffer so? Why must I experience such blight upon my person? Whomst have I wronged?
Yep. So, last time in Stupid Invaders,
it was shit. Literal shit. Moving on.
They are now captured.
So, of course, by the laws of subtraction, we are left with only one character to control. Stereo, I believe.
Yep. Stereo Monovisi. Stereo's a living paradox. He's ultra-talkative and repetitive, but he accumulates an encyclopedic glut of utterly worthless knowledge. In a matter of seconds, he can calculate the number of 16 notes in a cantata by J.C. Bach, or the exact length of a roll of toilet paper for a regiment of 500 parachutists. He lives in a closed world and ends up answering his own questions.
Can I say, let's talk briefly about your manual. The descriptions given by this manual are some of the most irritating and brazen I've ever heard. The analogies it invents are atrocious. Simply atrocious. I still have it etched in my membrane. That analogy about the Virgin in a church or something that was used in the description for Candice.
Oh yeah.
I can still have a shiver running through my spine. It's so bad. Everything about this is bad. B-A-D. Bad. So bad. I don't know if I made it clear, but I don't like this game. This game is in fact a pile of steaming garbage, a trash fire, a molten lava of sapience, if you will. A literal dung, also, if you will.
And this elevator has a whole routine of stand-up comedy. Whenever you enter, you can hear a new thing it says.
I'm about to eject my brain off my cranium. It has been such a long time since I've hated a video game this much. Since I've cartoonishly lashed out at a video game this much. Hey look, it's the human testicle.
Oh yes. Dr. Sakharin, the main villain
get
of
it?
this.
Get it? Sakharin.
Yeah. 2 feet of hate and 33 pounds of blind range. This is one scientist who definitely isn't a happy person. Since his earliest...
Wait, hold on. Did I write this? Did I write this blurb? It's definitely not a happy person. Oh my
Definitely.
Gosh.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Since its earliest days, Dr. Sakharin has hunted and captured extraterrestrials who happen to drop in on Earth. He dissects the little green men and puts them into storage in unwholesome vats of formalin.
What just happened, by the way? I was blinded with rage.
Yeah, they were transferred all into different places, and Candice ended in the dissection room.
Oh, so this is all a huge, long, elaborate death scene for the entire crew, I assume.
Well, let's see.
I've already seen something being evaporated, so I'm assuming that's the case. And it goes on forever.
Yeah,
Or
though
not.
Candy's still thinking she's about to get into sex change operation.
Oh yes, because that joke was so funny last time. We have to drag it into the mud, shove it into your mouth, and then drag you into the mud.
Yeah, said it in the very beginning of the game. Her
I
second
noticed, funnily enough, I only noticed that after the video was already done and posted. But then I noticed when she reprised the joke at the end of the previous episode, and I'm not happy. I am not a happy camper.
That Candy's a much deeper character than I originally realized.
She really is not. It is only us who are projecting some real world issues onto her. I only wish this was that kind of, well, property, but it is not. It is a reject of the 90s who's just gotten worse. So much worse. And speaking of which, in preparation for this final episode, I decided to give a bit of a look-see at the actual cartoon this is supposed to be associated to. So, the 1997 series, I've watched the first episode. It was garbage. I hated it. It looked cheap. The timing was incorrect. It wasn't funny at all. And I'll be gosh darned, Iggy Pop's song really does not fit the energy of that introduction. Not in the slightest. It's bad all around. But then, out of curiosity, I checked the first episode of Season 2, which was made almost a decade after the fact.
2005, 2006, I believe.
You know, Season 2 is much better than Season 1.
Oh,
The animation is far superior. It looks much better. I wouldn't say it's good, but it has a couple of jokes that made me chuckle, at least, which is far more than that one episode from Season 1 ever did for me. And I noticed a lack of gratuitously sexist jokes, too.
okay.
It's,
Yeah, I guess.
from the looks of it, it is much better, and also, stereo here is not present. Which
Yeah,
is a massive improvement, because I've only heard a couple of lines from this character in Season 1, and I hated him. I hated them.
and apparently both the fans and the writers of the show hated him as well, and that's why he was cut out from the second season.
And yet, here he is, or I guess there they are, in this game. Stupid Invaders. And speaking of brain melting, the second season of the show was made after this video game, and they went back to calling it Space Goofs, which really tells me all I ever needed to know about this game. It clearly was not successful, it clearly made them look like idiots, and so they reverted back to the original branding. I'm assuming this is a game over.
Yep.
How much time did we waste? Not even 10 minutes. I am aghast. I am so sad about my choices. I'm trying to retrace in my mind all the little choices that led me to where I am now. My biggest mistake was ever meeting you, really.
Oh, we have had good times too, right?
Whatever good times we might have had, that memory has been completely superseded by stupid invaders. You see that pink smog? That's the shape of my brain at this moment.
Yeah, that's laughing gas.
This anesthetic is wonderful, Doctor. Ha 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 ha. Oh, he's too small to be affected by the stupid cloud of smog. That's so funny. So funny. Oh boy. Oh dear me.
Well, last time you gave me some homework to
Yes, I did.
see. So, the bad news first, I was unable to find any information on the budget. I looked hard and wide, and the only part I managed to find sales information for this North American Dreamcast version. It was about 11,600 copies.
Honestly, for this game and the Dreamcast, that is a lot.
Yeah. It sold more than games like Cow the Kangaroo, South Park Rally, or Urban Chaos.
I mean, the bar is pretty low as it is, but still, selling more than a South Park game on that same system?
Yeah.
I know that game was terrible, but still, the brand is very popular at that point in time.
Yeah, in the all-time most sold Dreamcast games, it's on the place 238.
It shocks me that it's even on that list. Also, it's even more shocking that the Dreamcast had over 200 games, considering.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a sad bit of news to consider in context, and you didn't find anything else. I was really more interested in the PC sales.
Yeah, I had no other information I managed to find. I searched from Google and even resorted to Bing, and
Oh no!
Yeah, then it sometimes put this program that sent me constant messages that your computer is in danger, download this virus protection. And my actual virus protection didn't notice any viruses in my computer, so it probably was a hoax, and I had to manually turn it off in order so it wouldn't notify me anymore.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm sorry that I gave you homework, if that was the result. The curse of this game transcends itself, transcends the confines of this video-ludic narrative.
Yeah. And for the last piece from the manual, I'm telling about the last area of the game, Base 52. Base 52 is a maze of laboratories and corridors buried beneath an inhospitable desert. This is where the most dangerous scientist in the world hangs out, Dr. Sakharin!
Dr. Scrotum.
Yeah, he does look like one. Do you have to censor him?
I haven't before, and I shall not begin doing that now.
Everyone knows when they're invited into Base 52, but no one knows when they're gonna get out.
Spoopy. Okay then. That's it?
Yep.
Do you have any more useless anecdotes from that useless manual of yours?
There are also just as technical specification, installation, and controls.
It has to be more compelling than this game. What the heck is up with this game? We might as well.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of wandering in this video.
Uh-huh. You know, I actually wish you cut some of it.
Yeah, I started to think that too.
I have no enthusiasm about talking in relation to this game. That enthusiasm, you could say, went down the drain. Eh?
Hey, you're almost as funny as that elevator.
Oh, I cannot even hope to compete with that level of humor, with that level of comedy. Clearly, humanity is destined to be replaced by elevators when it comes to the comedy department.
Recommended system requirements. Processor, Intel Pentium 2 MMX 350 MHz, System Windows 98, RAM 64 megabyte, CD-ROM X32, so I guess 32 fast. Sound card DirectX 7.0 compatible card.
Oh no! Another pile of
Video-
dung!
Oh, hello.
Why?
My name is
I thought we left the dung factory behind! Why? Why more dung?
Well, I'm not sure if it's dung or it's just all the
It's a
fried
fly!
aliens.
It's a fly
That's right.
up
I
there,
want to get out of here.
and it's a mountain of brown stuff. What else could it possibly freaking be?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah, I guess it's proud enough to be
Oh,
done.
really? You're a taxi. Oh, can you take me?
Continue.
Oh, and
Well, of course I have.
yeah, video card DirectX 7.0 compatible card, free space 3 gigabytes for a complete installation, monitor, keyboard, mouse. That's how powerful machine you need in order to play this game.
It's not powerful at all by today's standards. Although
Yeah.
I am absolutely surprised by the 64 megabytes of RAM. That's a lot for a game from 2000.
Don't worry, of course I'll pay. Don't move.
From our first family computer, installing that in its fullest took about 1/3 of the entire hard disk.
Wow! Wow! You know, Grim Fandango, when it came out in 1999, had notorious issues with running with machines that were available publicly at the time. And then it continued to have issues with more modern machines. There were, infamously, a couple of game-breaking bugs in the Italian version of Grim Fandango. I don't know if that's common with all the European releases of the game. But first of all, have you played Grim Fandango?
Anybody home?
Property private this is. Immediately out of here go you. Warned you, have I?
Hello?
Yes. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have played Grim Fandango. I played the when it was released as the remastered version.
Oh! No! No! How am I going to censor this now? The robotic titties! Are you kidding me? Are you
Well,
kidding me? A robotic penis! Screw this! No! Wait! Stop! Don't! Don't screw this! Oh my god, why? Why? No! 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 You know what? I don't care. I'm not even going to bother with this.
Yeah, if you want, I can send a censored version of this clip. Because I was watching, just before the starting of this, I was watching the second episode, and you don't really have much imagination when it comes to censor things.
Oh, because I placed your face onto that bunnyman's butt? Well, you know, at least I did the work of censorship. You, on the other hand, apparently cannot even do that. You, person who does video reviews, cannot edit, apparently.
I guess the more accurate is that I'm just getting used to not censoring any material that I saw, because it wouldn't be artistically correct. Or
We are
something.
making these videos for YouTube. You need to understand that. You need to understand that YouTube is run by soccer moms. So you need to think of the children at all times.
But the gamebox says 11, and those are children, right?
Listen, you know how Americans work, right? Nudity and all that.
Yeah, they gave teen to that.
Clearly they have not tested it. Clearly they didn't care enough.
There are those times when they don't bother to look at them, then they can just slap the 18 age rating. Yeah, I did once saw some kind of Jane Austen video in a market, and there was the 18 marking, which usually meant at that point that they didn't bother to actually watch it. And it was starring William Shatner.
Well, he's dead. Try again.
Yeah.
So I was talking about Grim Fandango before the robot sex, which apparently needed to happen. I don't know why that needed to happen in this game at that particular moment, like the Aurora Borealis in Skinner's Kitchen.
Candy needed the fly that we saw
I
was
said
actually
I didn't say I cared to learn about the context now, did I?
well, alright.
I will ask you if I care about this. I clearly don't. I have checked out a long time ago. In fact, I am so checked out of this that I am talking about a completely different game. So, Grim Fandango. There were, like I said, a couple of game-breaking bugs in the Italian version. Listen if this is familiar to you. In the elevator puzzle in Rubacava, when you were supposed to drive a forklift into the elevator doors in order to block the elevator just at the right floor, you couldn't do that because the elevator was going up and down too fast. You did not have the material time to do so. As such, it was a game-breaking bug. Another famous bug was towards the end with the puzzle involving the giant lizard in the sewers. You were supposed to have the lizard turn around and block its tail with whatever machine you had available at the time. Now the details are a bit fuzzy. It's been a while. Unfortunately, what actually happens is that the lizard slowly skitters away, backpedals like a truck, disappears from the screen, and then you are stuck there, unable to continue. And those were the two infamous game-breaking bugs in Grim Fandango. They had to make... fans had to make a patch for it.
I didn't encounter any game-breaking bugs.
You did not encounter any gay baking bugs. What were you saying? I think it was a unique issue with the Italian copy of the game, because no one else across the continent has ever encountered this issue with the game. Only Italian players, which is bizarre. I don't know what was up with the Italian version of GF, but here we go.
During my recording, this game constantly crashed during cutscenes, and even back when I remembered it used to crash. But curiously, during recording this Area 52 segment, it only crashed in the final cutscene and nowhere else.
That's annoying.
Yeah, considering that before this it crashed like 10 times.
I once had a copy of Siberia 2 for the PlayStation 2. Yes, it was released on console, believe it or not. And I played that game up until the very end. I resolved the final puzzle. And then the game crashes right before the final cutscene. So I boot up the game again. solve the final puzzle again, and the game crashes again. And then I realized that I cannot beat the game because it won't play the final cutscene.
Hey, yo, Fatso, where you going? You got any money?
I mean, technically you solved all the gameplay
Yes,
aspects.
but I
so-
cannot see the ending, and to this day I still don't know how Siberia 2 ends. I could have checked out on YouTube, but honestly I did not care much about it at that point. So that's a funny story.
Yeah.
The moral is don't play point-and-click adventure games on PlayStation 2 if you can avoid it. So, Matti, I could not help but notice that there is living furniture in this area.
Yep.
Dare I ask why?
Your guess is good as mine. Stupid Invaders also has the option where you can you just need 400 megabytes of free space, but in that case you have to constantly switch CDs. With the full 3 gigabyte installation, you don't have to do that. You can just
Okay, so
play.
in fairness, no other game, especially no other adventure game from the year 2000, looked quite like this. For a game that features literal cesspools and human buttocks, it looks surprisingly good. Compare this to another game that came out in the year 2000, The Longest Journey. It doesn't look nearly as good as this one. They have put clearly a lot of money and talent into making this game, which breaks my heart and makes me even more angry because it's money and talent that could have been used to make a better game. Oh my gosh, this alien! Once again, we cut to Candice waking up from a bed that was already occupied, implicating several things. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, she goes around.
She goes around.
The one episode I watched from the first season, which was the last one of the first season, in the building came this mysterious human creature called a woman, and she managed to pretty much seduce all the aliens except for Candy, and Candy thought, how could I get then broke up from that women's latches, and she used that machinery to turn herself into a human woman, and then the old guys were drooling at her, and even Ethno was all like, I didn't know you had that in you, or stuff. That was, I don't know how to describe it.
Don't watch season 1 of Space Goofs. If you have to watch this show, just jump right into season 2. It is far superior. Compare the first episode of season 2 with the first episode of season 1. There is an ocean of difference in terms of quality.
Hold on, there's going to be a puzzle that I was stuck for a long while as a child.
Oh no. What is it?
It's a math puzzle.
No!
Yeah, you have to go to the correct teleports in order to get to the main hall.
Oh no! Do you have to do additions?
What is
Multiplications? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, mathematics. What is additions?
Yeah, I guess you need to
What is additions? He says. My
Oh,
gosh.
addition. Okay. I thought you said something like addition or something. It sounded like that.
Addition. Les
Yes,
additions.
addition. Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound so bad. What's the catch?
So it's a simple math of first you go to the first teleport, which is 1. It teleports you to 2, plus them together. Go to the fifth teleport 5, and then go from there.
It's not so bad once you realized it, but I can understand why it would take a while if you're a dumb child who doesn't do his math homework.
Well, I didn't just understand the logic of it, but
I've always been terrible at math, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I was rather good at it at early years.
Oh yes, brag about how good you were at math while failing to solve a math problem.
But once I got to upper secondary school, my mathematics numbers started to plummet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's when you were introduced to algebra and equations, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, I hate them too. Mm-hmm.
But what I was saying, yeah, and as I mentioned in a review of mine, there was a puzzle in the game I played, Perils of Man, which was exactly the same math puzzle as in this stupid Invaders. And because I encountered it, I managed to solve it way before the game wanted me to solve it, and with that I accidentally skipped an entire puzzle.
You've got to love it when games resent you for solving their puzzles before they are presented to you.
Yeah. So now, okay, we wait for the... Oh yeah, I didn't at this point remember that I had to block that leg because closes, but...
Matti, don't mumble. Speak clearly, please. This is meant to be seen and heard by human beings with only 2 years. Just
yeah,
2!
I didn't remember to put something to block that foot pedal because that door closes before it's time, so I need the one brick alien thing that I gathered from Stereo's previous segment. Was that articulate enough for you?
I suppose so. I could use with less sass from your end. Thank you very much.
Okay, we just put that there.
Oh, sure. That thing. Yes, put it there. Whatever that is. Oh boy. I wonder if our commentary is getting better or worse. In proportion to our not giving a damn.
Yeah. Be sure to comment on the down below to let us know.
Nobody will bother. Nobody's watching this. In fact, we don't even exist. Okay. Reality is an illusion. That means that this game is fake too. This is not a real game.
And the next puzzle is not that hard, but it's rather tedious.
Simon says! Simon freaking says! Ah, no! You are the precursor to all quick time events in video games. I hate you. Also, I'm thinking about that very same Simon Says puzzle from Toonstruck. Also known as the Happy Happy Clown Game! Have fun!
Yes. As a child, it took me a while to realize that I wasn't supposed to press the red button after the second sequence. I was supposed to first press the green and then red and repeat that whole shebang gang.
That's how Simon Says works. And speaking
Yeah,
of happy clowns, that evil clown from Toonstruck, it was also voiced by Jeff Bennett. Coincidence? Yes, probably.
Yeah. I haven't played that game, but
It's so much better
apparently-
than this, but it doesn't take much, honestly. It has
Yeah.
problems, but hey, at least there's Christopher Lloyd in it. Being Christopher Lloyd.
yeah. And wasn't the villain played by Tim Curry or something?
The villain was in fact voiced by Tim Curry.
Yeah. That's what I said, Tim Curry.
Yes, and that's what I said in confirmation to you, Tim Curry.
Okay.
Okay. I'm glad we sorted this out.
Yeah. Well, as a child, I wasn't familiar with this game.
This is still going on.
Yeah, I have actually never played Simon Says in any context.
Well, I'm pretty sure the American kids to whom this game was intended would have gotten it. Blah. But really, whoever played Simon Says, why was this even popular? It's not fun, it's stupid. Hey kids, I am a multicolored ball. Press the green button after I tell you to press it. Have fun. Stupid.
I guess in the actual Simon Says, the tempo will also get faster the longer the game progresses.
It's still not fun. Not as a concept, and not in execution. Hey kids, play this game in which we tell you how to play it, and no other way to play it is correct. Capitalism.
Oh my god, it's still going.
What?
It's still going.
It's
I
still going. The Happy Clown game was so much worse than this. I can tell you that much for free.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
boy.
did count that out of the 21 possible death scenarios this game has, 10 of them has a proper warning before it, and 11 can happen by accident.
And of course, there is the one in which you need to die in order to know that there is a puzzle to solve.
Yeah.
Apparently, we are done with Simon Dictates.
Yep. So
Eh.
we can...
We can move on with our life, and we are almost half away through this video. Hooray!
Oh yeah.
Time sure flies when you're having fun.
Oh, it's that place from the very beginning of the game.
Oh, goody. It's a bit more lit from the looks of it. Well, I am the boss of Spectre now. Obey me.
What about me?
Why?
Rescue me?
Okay, why? He sat on the chair. And then we cut to this.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I was wondering what to do now.
And what is this supposed to be?
That's an alien that has lived here for a while.
I can freaking see that! That's not what I asked you! What? Why? Why? Why is this alien? Why?
I'm trying to understand the...
Wait,
do you-
wait a minute. That's a tentacle?
I suppose.
I thought it was a snail body, but no, it's a tentacle.
Ah,
Sure.
thanks, mister. One doesn't often meet people.
Okay, so Deus Ex Machina then. Random alien smoking a cigar comes in, frees Bud, so that the plot can progress.
Well, he's going to show up later to cause further problems, but we'll get to that at some point.
Okay.
And here we have the collection of toilets.
Of course we do.
Pull the string!
Wrong string! If only it were acid. That's one huge kitchen sink.
Yeah. And this area was completely pointless. There was nothing here.
Okay, again, why go through the trouble of creating entire 3D rooms if there's nothing for you to do in them? Not only it is a waste of time for the developers, it is also additional space that will occupy your hard drive that did not need to be there.
I guess it's the inner logic of the space. Maybe some gamers might wonder, wait, there are bathrooms, are sinks, but where is
No!
the shower?
No, it makes things so much worse, because then you, as a player, will think there is got to be something important that needs to be done in this one room. And then you'll be stuck trying to figuring out what that is, only to eventually realize that that room is entirely useless. So it's a waste of time in all the meanings of the word. How many times have you been stuck?
Music races to crescendo, revealing da 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 da.
And now there is a maze.
Yeah, a freaking maze.
A freaking maze.
Very good indication on if a point-and-click adventure is bad if it has a maze.
I would go as far as to say that mazes are bad in general, no matter the video game. Mazes are bad even when they are in good games. They are always bad.
Can you mention a good game that has a maze?
Well, there is an edge maze in Resident Evil 4, and that game is great. The maze, not so much, but at least it's not gigantic. It is annoying, though. Very annoying. And let's see. That's the first example that comes to mind. I'm pretty sure there are mazes in many RPGs, if not all of them. This is such a time waster.
Yeah, in my childhood I was at one Hedge Maze and it was rather cool. But yeah. And then there's one. In real life and paper form, the mazes are fine, but in computer form, I guess Pac-Man is technically a maze.
Yes, I was actually thinking about Pac-Man this very second. That's technically a maze. But it doesn't play as a maze, not in the way mazes are implemented in more modern games.
And I guess Bomberman can count as maze games?
No, not really, because the whole point of Bomberman is to blow up the maze along with the people in it. So it's so much better because of that. Screw you, maze. I'll blow you up with my bombs.
Yeah. In addition to maze, it seems to also be a giant golf field.
Yes, I noticed. It's funny. It's like a mini golf course. Isn't that hilarious?
I've never played real golf in my life. I've only
Okay.
played mini golf.
Mini golf is good and fun and cheap. Actual golf is bad for the environment. It's an elitarian sport for rich. And it needs to go away. And it's boring too. Golf is garbage. Mini golf is fun.
Golf is a good walk spoiled, Mark Twain.
Mark Twain was white and privileged. Doesn't count.
So, yeah, there's always the last ditch in case game material gets boring is to read reviews of it from the time when it was released.
Oh, please give it to me. That's another thing I asked of you. Give me the reviews. I am dreading them already.
And looking at the Metacritic.
Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes should not be considered standards for an objective calculation of quality because they work in a very specific manner.
Yeah, this is only based on 23 critics.
Exactly. And what did
9
they have
positive,
to say?
9 positive, 10 mixed, 4 negative.
Can you just read me a positive and a negative review of this game at random?
Let me see. At random.
This
Let's
game.
pick a positive review. Written by Heidi Fournier, May 20th, 2002. For the past few years I have been hearing gamers lamenting the state of adventure games, and the fact that many of them believe that games are too similar in story and style. Point in fact, how many times can one visit Atlantis before it becomes passé? With the arrival of Stupid Invaders, the world is about to be introduced to an old idea made new. In the vein of such games as Toonstruck and Sam and Max Hit the Road, Stupid Invaders is fun
I'm
and
going to stop you there. How dare you? How dare you compare this atrocity to the best adventure game ever made, Sam and Max Hit the Road? I will... I hate this. I hate this review already.
Yeah, Sam and Max Hit the Road is a good one, though I think the Telltale games were better.
No, I mean, the Sam and Max ones maybe about as good.
Yeah, I was referring to Sam and Max Telltale games.
They're fine, but they still don't compare to the original in my nostalgic view. Clearly.
Yeah. Sometimes
Anyway,
the puzzles
please
in Hit the
continue.
Road were... Yeah, Stupid Invaders is fun and irreverent and at times surprisingly crude. Stupid Invaders is not groundbreaking as it never strays too far from tired and true adventure game conventions, but it is very different from anything I have played in the last 2 years.
I'll say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it is full of toilets. Stupid Invaders is based on a cartoon called Space Goofs that some gamers may be familiar with. If not, no
Why?
need to worry. Lack of knowledge about the TV show will not hinder your ability to understand and enjoy the game or its crew of bizarre characters. For those not familiar with the cartoon, let me give you the Cole's Notes version of the game's background and story. Our 5 anatomically incorrect ETs crash land on Earth, forcing them to hide out in an old mansion while fixing their spacecraft so they can return home. This has proven to be not an easy feat as they have been at it for 50 years. What? Okay, that is not correct. In this...
That is factually incorrect.
There's the one alien gray area we saw earlier that said that he was in this space for 50 years, but those aliens were only 2 years on Earth. So that is indeed an incorrect information. In this time they have come to the attention of Dr. Evil Esque, mad scientist who wants to, you guessed it, steal their spaceship and use them as lab rats. This forces our brave but not overly bright compatriots to escape poetic gunman who utters clever little adages like, "You are going to die and when you die you will be dead," steal dung from a dung factory and play Simon Says. No one ever said it was easy repairing spaceship and escaping malevolent scientists. The graphic work done for the game is bold and engaging. Having just finished the Tour Blair Witch 2, the colorful and vivid graphics of Stupid Invaders were a balm of to these weary eyes. This is what graphs should be like, gorgeous, luminous and lively. Every color is bright, bright, bright and just pops off the screen at you.
I like how you are describing colors when we had this dead green metallic background to look as we try to trudge on.
Yeah. The lighting is employed to provide detail, but never overshadows or washes out the vibrant environments. Though the game's environments are simplistic in their design, similar in style to the genie in Disney's Aladdin, they never cease to impress. In fact, while playing the game, I had to stop so often to take screenshots to show you, our devoted readers, I feared I might never finish the game. Oh yeah, and they have tons of different graphics of toilets.
And that's
Stupid
a selling point because the one writing this is either 16 or a very mature adult.
Stupid Invaders is not just full of toilets, mind you. It is full of toilet humor as well. The game includes a great deal of humorous repartee, including the soon-to-be classic catchphrase, "It isn't over until the fat lady farts." Often the dialogue is just plain wacky.
This aged like milk.
Full of ingenious riffs on life, some so flat-out crude you feel embarrassed to be laughing at them. Stupid Invaders is not as humorous as Sam and Max Hit the Road or Curse of Monkey Island, but when it delivers a laugh, it hits a home run.
If you say so.
The majority of challenges faced by the aliens are exploration and inventory gathering tasks. At the beginning of the game, I found that these hurdles were quickly and easily executed. This worried me at first as I found myself cruising through the first section of the game like grease lightning, but they grew more complex and difficult as I progressed further into the game. Well, that's bullshit. The problems never...
Literally.
Oh,
literal.
I don't usually swear, but this goes.
No, it's literal bullshit, in fact.
Yeah, and this point is on this kind of a huge desert
oh my
area.
God, we left a maze, and now we are in a desertic maze!
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, game? Are you freaking kidding me?
During the recording of this, I'm also at the same time drawing a map so I can properly move here.
Oh, yes, an indication of a well-designed game. You, the player, have to do the homework of drawing a map because the game is deliberately confusing.
Yeah.
Swell.
Yeah, currently I'm going to the down to the south because if you travel too far, it causes a game over, and I need to map where the area is.
Okay, are you done with that review?
Nope. Well, where was I? Okay. But they grew more complex difficult progress further in the game. The problems never reached Black Dahlia-like levels of difficulty, but there were one or two obstacles that will most likely give you pause. There are two important facts that all
that
gamers...
was graphic.
Yep.
That was gruesome. Not funny at all.
There are two important facts that all gamers should know about the barriers in SI before they purchase it. The first is that you can die in the game. The second is that you do often. The circumstances of your untimely death will come from doing things that, as a hardened adventure gamer, have proven to be infallible in other games. Doing these things in SI will get you killed, and it will make you paranoid. As I worked further into the game, I became increasingly gun-shy about pulling levers, talking to other characters, and exploring new environments. This is not a bad thing, it actually heightened my enjoyment as all those old unspoken rules were tossed out the window, and I started to ponder if, in what devious way the game was conspiring to do me in. The second thing is that the end of the game includes a huge maze. Mazes, as I have said ad nausea, are not only an unpopular cliché, but also a huge pain in the butt. Why do game designers...
Okay, we can agree on something at least.
Yeah. Why do game designers keep hauling out this tired old chestnut? The main
Good
reason is
question! Nobody likes them. Why do they keep doing it? To
The
pad
main
out
reason
the
is-
length of the game, clearly.
The main reason is to save time and effort. Mazes are easy to create, and in designers' minds they are excellent filler. And then they wonder why so few people finish as games they are playing. That wasn't in the review, that's...
I assumed
isolated.
that's the case, okay.
Stupid Invaders also suffers at times from a less than intuitive point-and-click interface. There were a couple of times I was unable to move my character in the direction I was clicking. At one point I had somehow managed to move my character to a point where I could not seem to get him to move at all, and it took me a solid minute of frantic clicking to get him to actually budge. Luckily, the camera angles used in this game never take strange slants that would have hindered a player's ability to position their character. The game is also played from a third-person perspective, making it similar in style to games like Sanitarium, rather than Myst-style games like Morpheus. Anticipation has been running high regarding this game, and after playing it, I can attest that it is not just hype. Stupid Invaders has a lot going for it. While not as funny as I was expecting, it is still a very humorous game. With luminous graphics, dozens of different locations to explore, and a zany set of characters to interact with, its value at the retail price of $30 US. Oh, and it has toilets. Lots of them.
$30 for this?
Yeah. Apparently gave it 80 points, or 4 stars.
I am going to use the term luminous graphics from now on to describe a game I don't like. It has luminous graphics. Look at those luminous graphics of a desert, a barren wasteland.
Yep. Our
No,
verdict. A game of very high quality. Although some aspects might have been executed better, we would recommend this game without hesitation. The good, wonderfully bright and striking graphics, attention to details in animation, and a funky soundtrack. The bad, some small tedious interface problems and some overly simplistic challenges.
So, is it done?
Yep, now it's done. Let me
Okay,
choose our...
I cannot wait to hear what the bad review has to say about this, because honestly, the good review did not exactly do a stellar job in selling this game to me. It pointed out all the little things I don't like about it, mazes and toilets, to name a couple. Oh.
Okay. That one wasn't found. Let's see if Gamer of a PC has better luck. Okay, that domain is no longer available.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, GameSpy and Gamer of a PC were bust, so let's see. All Game Guide.
Mm-hmm.
Not found.
Oh, wow! Really?
Well, let's see if Hot Games is better.
That's not a good sign. Any luck?
Click here to buy this domain.
So, 4 video game magazines who hosted a review of this game had gone poof and bankrupt, I assume. Either that or they must have moved away to another domain. In either case, that's not a good sign. This game
Yeah.
is cursed.
Yeah, those were all negative reviews from 35 points to 40 points. Now I try to find if any of the mixed reviews have.
I am not interested in the mixed reviews at all. As far as I'm concerned, the positive one seemed like a mixed review already. I would like to know who thought this game was bad at the time and why they thought it was bad at the time. I am presuming that the reasons, some of the reasons they might have thought this game was bad at the time, might not be exactly the same as to why we think it's bad today. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, actually, there was a negative review in Finnish Pelit magazine that I'm reading still today. So, I'm currently at my parents' attic where the magazine probably is. So, I guess I could try to search for it at the
Wait,
moment.
hold on. Is it in English?
In Finnish, but I can try to translate it in English.
No, it's too much effort, it's not worth it, and we have about 20 minutes left to this video. So, did you just really wander across the desert hoping to find ways to progress?
Yeah, I was starting from the very bottom and going from there, finding all the items. And turns out you don't even have to go to any northern than that. The area still would have continued.
This is bad. So you follow a terrible maze, a terrible tedious maze, with a terrible tedious desert.
Oh, hold on. While I didn't find the negative reviews, there are summarizes of those negative reviews. I can say them. Game Spy. A great concept marked by exceptionally bad implementation. A game that is impossible to recommend to anyone for any reason. 35 points.
I mostly agree with that, except with the first point. This is not a good idea either.
Yeah. Gamer with PC 40. Who says adventure gaming is dead? Well, actually, this game does.
Ah, yes! My man! More. Give me more. This is cathartic.
All Game Guide 40. Comedy that fails to deliver much of anything in the way of humor is a sad product. All the components for a successful FunFest are present, but the end result falls flat.
Fair.
And finally, 40 from Hot Games. Looks like fun, plays like crap, and isn't even that funny.
That summarizes it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, look, Ethno is toast.
Yep.
A giant toaster, because why not? Wait, why did he not die this time? What did I miss?
Yeah, I downloaded. He managed to get it down to that button that pop-ups the bread before its time. Or something.
Or
But
something.
You have to get in there in time.
Or something is right.
Yeah. It seems that calculating the temperature, I have about 2 seconds before I burst into the flames. That's like he said at that point.
Uh-huh. 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 Oh, please tell me you have some more of those negative comments, because I have no idea what to say or do next.
Hold on, I try to see if any of these mixed reviews. Nope.
Question, Matti. Are we in modern times all of a sudden?
Well, this is some. This is just a metallic tower that controls
No,
the
are we in
gate.
Charlie Chaplin's modern times all of a sudden? That's what I'm asking. Is this supposed to be a
Oh.
reference specifically to that?
I have no idea.
Specifically a reference to 1935's Charlie Chaplin's modern times? Because
I've only seen
the
like
color is
clips from
muted,
that.
looking black and white in fact, and there are a lot of cogs. Hence why it reminds me of modern times. Is there a death scene that involves Ethno getting grinded by the gears?
I have only seen like a couple of clips from it.
I'm talking about this game. Is
Oh,
there a death
Ethno-
scene that involves the gears and the cogs?
I'm not sure what that scene.
Well,
Yeah.
that answers the question. There is that creature blocked, stuck in the cogs.
Yep. And now you just have to
Die.
go back.
I did not even bother to keep track with the screen by screen transitions. I don't know why we are suddenly in a clock tower by the looks of it. I don't know why we went from Area 52 to what seems to be a clock tower. I don't care. Everything we could have possibly said about this game, about its terrible design choices, its inconsistent level designs, its bad sense of humor, its terrible, terrible, terrible jokes about sexual assault by the looks of it. Everything that could have possibly been uttered in relation to why this thing is atrocious. Has been uttered already. And at this point I'm just waiting for the nightmare to be over. Because there's only so much a man can take. Stupid invaders. Stupid doesn't even begin to describe this.
And now with during the end of this game, some of these puzzles get very straightforward, and you can even question, are they even really puzzles in the first place? Because
So you could theorize that the developers have given up altogether and just rushed to the conclusion because they were about to meet the deadline and they were crunched. Is that what you are implying? Because I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
it is a possibility. Or some.
It's a possibility. A surprisingly common thread in bad adventure games is that many tend to have sizable sections of themselves relatively rushed when it comes to puzzle solving, or indeed content, narrative and otherwise. For example, the way Toonstruck ends, it wasn't supposed to be the ending originally, but then they decided to cut the game in 2 games. Except the second game was never made because the first game didn't do so well. So it ends with a rather disappointing, unsatisfying, rushed cliffhanger. I'll take dumb puzzles over idiotic, overcomplicated ones any day of the week, though. Especially this desert nonsense. It's just tedious.
Yeah, well, luckily we don't no longer need to wander here. We have all we need to get to the...
Except you do, because you had to find your way back. Once again, the fact that you had to map the area yourself is a testament to this not being a good game.
Yep.
It's a game from the year 2000, not a game from 1984. There is no justification for this.
Yeah, that time had a lot of those kind of games with asshole puzzles where you don't realize you have screwed things up until much later and you can't complete the game.
Yes, but I was talking specifically about making heads or tail on where you're supposed to go in relation to the location itself. For example, trying to play Zork, the Underground Empire, without a map is a nightmare. But Zork was a text adventure, so you had, by the very design of it, fill it with your imagination. And it's a game from 1980, basically. Space Invaders, I mean stupid Invaders, Jesus.
And
it's a game from 2000.
You can hear the sound, but this was the last appearance from the Hammer Bear.
Well, isn't that smashing? Get it? It's summertime. So that was important.
Yep.
Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, there's a really dramatic music going on here. Because this is the second to last game segment. Then we make one last character change.
Uh-huh. Is it going to be stereo?
Well, let's see.
Because I've noticed that of all the characters, stereo is the least utilized so far.
Well, actually, stereo was used 3 times, but ethno was used only twice during this game.
Ethnos segments were meatier.
Yeah.
We don't have a second to lose. Back to the ship.
Gorgeous had 3 and Bud also had 3. Candy has had 4 so far.
By the way,
I count the entire area of the Dang Factory as Gorgeous and Candy's section. No need to count all the ways in which they cut to each other. And this guy.
Yep. He just flat out steals their spaceship.
Oh no.
Go, Candy.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Well, it's not over until the fat lady farts.
I hate that. I bet that phrase was in the trailer for this game, wasn't it?
So, Candy, can we come in now?
I haven't actually watched the trailer.
It sounds like a trailer sentence.
Assuming it even has one.
It probably does. But I'm not going to look it up. Why would I ever do that? Oh yes, please, Candy, save yourself! Leave the others to die, Candy. Save yourself. You are the true hero of this game.
Yeah. You beautiful trans icon.
No. I don't think that's the case at all.
Yeah, now we just deal with the buttons and stuff.
Yes. She sure knows how to push their buttons.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
Can you?
Yeah, okay, now it works for me.
Okay, I said something very funny and you didn't hear me. Oh well.
Okay, now I can hear you back. Go. And now the game's final game over situation.
The final
You just
game
exit-
over. Oh yes, do
Yeah.
that. That's dumb. Oh, screw you, Dr. Testicle. Oh, well, that's the most underwhelming game over so far. They
Yeah.
don't even die. Boo. Boo,
Yeah,
I say.
Although it's kind of funny in its underwhelmingness.
No, because Dr. Testicle there calls Candy a sexual pervert, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Dr. Sakarin is just a mean poop head.
Is literally a testicle head, but okay.
Well, a figurative poop head, a literal testicle head.
You might as well complete the Holy Trinity and call him a dickhead.
Figurative poop head and literal testicle head, it's kind of given that he's also a dick.
What has this game done to us? We have reverted back into adolescence. It's so unfortunate. I don't like where this is taking me. Do a barrel roll, Candice. Oh my gosh! Candice has superhuman strength! How? She could have crushed that rapey bunny man with such strength.
Well, I guess the joke is that can is kind of empty, so it's easy to carry, but... Oh wait,
It's
not
still
empty
so
because-
big! It's bigger! It's
Yeah.
10 times her size! That's so...
Maybe only now Candy has started to believe in herself.
Oh, Candy, believe in me that believes in you. Believe it, and whatnot. This is... You could have used that to squash the Doctor? You could have used that strength of yours to literally solve all of the problems? All of them? Why? Candice, are you, perchance, playing the part of the damsel in distress on purpose?
Oh, Candy's going to do something much more gruesome to the Doctor than just...
Whatever it is, it's well earned at this point. So the Doctor called her a sexual pervert. I'm pretty sure he misgendered her too. He deserves to die, obviously.
And he dissects aliens!
Yes,
That's
and
no good.
that's no good. And he didn't dissect the one thing she wanted him to dissect. That's just rude.
There is one missing. Where is he? We have ways of making you... you know the rest.
Uh-huh. I can see where this is going. Ah.
Oh.
Okay, so he went the way of the soda poppers, basically.
But wait,
Well,
where did he disappear?
Please tell me that this base explodes like the previous two buildings they blew up.
Well, I guess you are rather
Oh,
good
look! Hey, look, it's a penis with balls. That's the shape of the missile. Subtle.
I guess you can't that 100% tell it because it's kind of an curve.
I do not need to censor vaguely phallic object.
And there's the really dramatic orchestra music in this part.
So, no explosion. That's disappointing.
This time the game is really
Oh no!
Oh wow, he's still alive. I guess game over screens don't work for him.
my own hands.
Hey, look at Ethno heroically protecting his comrades.
On your little planet. Kaboom.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's my father.
But even more surprises.
Oh, of course. He didn't die too. That makes sense.
I'm staying here with him.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Alright, this makes sense. No, actually it doesn't. Never mind. Okay. Okay.
Well, you're going to get your explosion.
Uh... This is the part in which I would say directed by Michel Bailly, but he is no longer around to direct this, apparently. Did they seriously just blew up the Earth? The entire
Yep,
Earth?
it was also intended to be a serious finale.
I'm sorry. How did the Earth blow up with that?
It was an actual megaton, and Sakharin threatened to that when they fly to their home planet, he's going to blow it up.
Oh. So the Earth has exploded then. Death Star style.
The end.
I will give this game credit. I was not expecting the planet to blow up. I didn't think they would go that far. But apparently I was proven wrong. They definitely did. It's not necessarily a good thing. But it sure is a memorable ending. They blew up the Earth and the moon. Kaboom! Explosion! God. This is... Stupid Invaders, everybody. This was, in fact, a game, an actual game that exists, and we have covered it. Somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow we survived to tell the story. We should be dead, considering the planet has exploded. Well, I guess that explosion is very slow. I'm pretty
I
sure
guess
it's coming.
Well, I guess the existence of second season retconned it.
I'm pretty sure this game is not part of the canon, considering it's titled Stupid Invaders and not Space Goofs. I mean,
Yeah.
wow! I am still speechless. Well, no, clearly I'm not actually speechless because I'm saying a lot of words right now. But you know what I mean. I am aghast and baffled and bewildered and bamboozled even. They blew up the entire planet. Oh my gosh. Billions of lives. Poof! Like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that all the previous explosions were foreshadowing this. This is the most consistent element and leitmotif in the game. Explosions. Well, I guess that's the end of it. Yep,
Yeah.
we're done. The adventure
Easily
is over.
Easily the worst game I own as a physical copy. It was
I'm
about
so tired. It feels as if I've lost years of my life. My soul is drained like a toilet flush. And in its place, there is just bodily fluids.
well,
It's...
you can choose the game for the next time.
I don't even know if I want to do this again.
Oh,
Uh, this was... I think I need a moment to recombobulate myself. To recenter myself after this experience. This is the final boss. We should not have done this right away. We should have conserved this for later down the line, because this was the final boss of games to react.
yeah.
This was just
I don't even own that many actually bad games.
atrocious. Simply atrocious. But it's over, so there is a silver lining in this.
Yeah.
And the prospect of the entire planet blowing up, which is, again, something that happened in this game. No more games will be made, so we will be spared from any more of this. Gaming was a mistake.
I guess the actual worst game that I own is Earthworms in 3D, though for different reasons, but
Well, that's it then. I have been your host, Madhog thy master.
and I have been his guest, hedonistic actor.
You are my co-host at this stage. You don't get to weasel your way out by
Well,
saying you're a guest.
well, yeah, you're right.
It's
This
your
is
responsibility.
yeah, this is practically my second channel at this point.
Wow. Okay, don't... Oh, wow, okay. I see we're putting all of the feet forward here. I see we are jumping ahead. Jeez.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for watching, if you indeed had the stomach to continue. I would say it was almost worth it by the end to see that finale, that grand finale, but no, it really wasn't. This was not good. I feel worse for having watched this. Good night, everybody!
Good night.
You're an invader. Damn it.